fuck your console.
Man, fuck your consoles. How does it feel to be back in the console world of fucking video gaming? That's what I want to know.
1,000% more scrub.
Oh my God. This is how you look. This is how you look at gifts these days.
That's right.
This is how somebody says gives you golden chalices of games, and you go, man, I guess I'll join the lower tier of gamers again.
You know what? It's been okay. The games have been good, but I will say this. Fuck. Who the fuck thought, oh man, let me just make it to where they have to load the entire fucking game onto the console.
Yeah.
And then require you to have the disc to play it.
So for the audience, for the audience, what we're talking about here is the PlayStation 4 has this handy-dandy, nifty space-age setup where when you buy a brand new game and you get home and you pop the bitch in, I hope you're ready to play tomorrow because you got to download the game to your fucking hard drive for some weird reason. And then, or beforehand, either way, you got to update the game.
Yeah, that's not even it because I bought the fucking PlayStation. So there's a 2-hour fucking update. Get done. No, you know what? Chris been talking about Red Dead. Let me fucking try it. Just before I get into this other game, let me just pop onto this for 5 fucking minutes. Download started. Estimated time of completion 2 hours. Well, fuck it. I might as well just keep going then.
This is new age problems that I would have never thought 16-year-old me was worried about. If I went and bought a fucking Super Nintendo game and brought it home, I popped it in, I fucking played it. This day, it's like, well...
Imagine your dad standing there being like, the clock has started. You have exactly 114 minutes before you can begin.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it is quite ridiculous. I mean, one of the guys I work with, Steve just brought the new WWE game, and since he doesn't have the Xbox One, brought it over to my house, popped it in, and had to download everything.
Yeah,
it's so I have to wait an hour and a half in order for it to get everything offline. I was like, it's the CD. I have the CD in my hand, and I put it in the console. I should be able to play the game. Can't do it anymore.
Chris, educate me. Can't we? Yeah. Is it required that these consoles download the stuff? Isn't there a workaround?
I'm not sure. I know that it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it started all of a sudden.
He's right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this will not be the fucking console bash episode. I know some of the shit on your list for tonight's topic. You will not bash consoles today.
Yeah, no, consoles aren't bad. I'm just saying, it's like... I mean,
you hear that? Say that again, Brian?
It is kind of bullshit that...
No, guys.
That's right. I brought in some artillery today.
Yeah, but I do think it is bullshit that... I have this home entertainment system, and I buy a game, and now I pop it in. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to play 2 hours from now.
You didn't download the magic patch.
No, that's not even it. That's not even it. The fact is I was like, oh, okay, I don't have enough time to play this other game that I'll get to later.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just play this for the next 30 minutes before I go to bed.
You
got to put the fucking disc in.
Oh,
fuck you.
Well, hold on.
I downloaded the whole damn thing.
Yeah, okay. If you're downloading the game off the disc has to remain in there. But if you were to download an update of the game or a patch or whatever, you could do that separately. So it's just
the fact that I have to get up off my ass and switch the discs after downloading.
I know.
Okay,
but it's a one and done deal.
That's why I just buy everything digitally now. I don't even bother.
It's almost worth it to just buy it digitally. I mean, it's the same thing. The only reason I'm kind of wary about that is simply for the fact of somebody hacks my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been Target's got hit, and there's been numerous other companies.
Bro, Sony doesn't get hacked. Are you kidding me?
We all laughed about that.
Was that topical from years ago? I'm on it.
Newsflash, Sony got fucking hacked.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
I'm Adam.
And I am now Brian.
Holy shit. What is this horse shit? We got a fourth guest today? How
And
do we
not
have?
only that,
That's
we're
right.
sitting in one room.
We are.
Oh, my
Holy
fucking
shit!
God.
And you are correct, Rock. My bad. Stand corrected. As the best friend that gave you that name, this is not Brian. This is Rock, as in Rock Howard from the King of Fighters. Yeah, audience, this is a fucking momentous, monumental day right here because we have 4 people and all of us, yes, that's right, including Chris, who lives in Spain, I guess, is here in the house recording. Adam, we haven't been in the same house recording in a long time.
Yep.
And
Wow.
me and Chris haven't been at all, and Rock's a fucking guest. It's fucking Christmas. Actually, no.
It's fucking the day after Thanksgiving.
Just after
Thanksgiving
It's
just
Black
happened.
Friday.
It's
Is
what?
everybody
Whoa.
Is everybody buying their new consoles and TVs at
Yeah.
80% off?
So let's run into this story.
Oh.
And I already told Chris, he kind of knows some of it, but you also put it on Discord that you something about P5, so he picked up on the hint. So I didn't spoil it.
Yeah. Okay.
So for those in the audience that don't know, Adam's been behind the power curve on the console world for a long time, and to his credits, because consoles are bad.
Because they are.
No, they're not. So Chris and I both have been hounding his ass for months, if not years now, about, dude, the PlayStation 4 is a hot fucking button system. There are must plays. There are console sellers. Oh, Mega Man just opened the door and said, that's right. That's right. There are console selling games on this thing. You need to get on this. You need to stop putting this shit off to the side and playing it like it's just ho-hum. You need to get a PlayStation 4. Well, yada, yada, this and that. So I pulled the fucking friend card on him. I said, man, we have known each other for over 9 years. I'm pulling this fucking card. He's like, what card are you going to pull on me about video games? I said, man, you need to buy one. I have 2 copies of P5 myself. I can give you that. That's one. That is a, Chris, am I wrong? That is a console seller. Persona 5, you buy that, you're fucking done with life. There's also God of War. There's also Bloodborne, and there's I even threw in The Last of Us Remastered just for the hell of it. All stellar games, all awesome games. So we called ahead of time. He said, if you bring P5 to work, we will go after work to GameStop and I will buy a PlayStation 4. I said, thank fucking God. And
then you didn't fucking do it.
I'm getting to it. So we called GameStop. Now this is another reason why I love Amazon and why I love buying shit online, because we called the GameStop and said, hey, we heard some rumors that you guys had a sale going on right now for a Spider-Man 2018 PlayStation 4 bundle. 1 terabyte hard drive space. I believe the PlayStation 4 itself was a custom Spider-Man one, and you get the fucking game in it for $200. Awesome deal, because a PlayStation 4 by itself is already $300. So fuck yeah, thank you GameStop for having a sale. He said, yeah, you heard right. We'll have them. Cool. When are they available? Well, they're available. You know what? I don't want to say that because I don't think I asked him that. But he made it sound like they're available. So the next day, I bring Persona 5 in its entirety. I did. Now, I realized that I had my copy of Persona 5 still on my PlayStation 4 Pro, and I brought the case, and yeah.
I immediately noticed this discrepancy. And
I thought he was
hiding it.
I thought he was fucking with me because I left the game on the table and walked outside. And he comes outside and he's like, "Was your plan to not bring the game?" He's like, "I'm telling you, the case is in there and there's no game." I was like, "There's no game in there because you went in there and took it. And you hit it." He goes, "You think I do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, it was on me. I forgot the game is yada yada yada. So anyway, we get to GameStop. And I'm like, dude, you're about to fucking live it up. You're going to get a PlayStation 4 for $200 fucking dollars and you get a game with it. And then I'm giving you a game for free. Your life is great. We get there and they were like, he was like, I'd like a PlayStation 4 Spider-Man bundle, $200. They were like, fuck you. They said that to his face
that's when
at
they
GameStop.
Got slapped. I got hauled out of GameStop. The security was called. It was bad.
And they said, no, we do have that, but that is specifically a Black Friday deal, so you have to come back during the Black Friday sale.
And we got 6 of them.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, by the way, spoiler alert, you're probably not going to want to do it anyway because there's only 6, and I don't think you're going to be one of those sweaty, smelly, nerdy people that sit in line and get your one. So he was like, let me go talk to him. Let me go talk to my buddy about this. He's like, dude, what's the difference between a PlayStation 4 and this? And I told him the difference. He goes, you know what? If I'm going to drop money, I'm just going to get a fucking PS4 Pro. If I'm going to drop that kind of money, I might as well drop a little extra and get the top of the line and be done with it. So this son of a bitch walks out of GameStop with a PS4 Pro, which he has now. But what he doesn't see, did you not realize what I was doing?
No.
Okay, so the audience can't see this, but the guys on the couch can. I'm at a register. He's standing right here to my left shoulder, right behind me, just looking around like, wow, I've never been at a GameStop before. This place is awesome. I've got
What the fuck?
I've got 2018 God of War, Bloodborne, Persona 5, and The Last of Us Remastered, all brand new copies. They were new copies, but the guy was bargaining with me because it was on sale. I could get them cheaper for used. It was supposed to be like, hey man, buy these games real quick and let me get out of here in 2 minutes. 7 minutes later, I'm still dealing with this guy with Adam sitting right behind me, and I buy the games and then I just hand them to Adam. And he's like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, what do you mean? You didn't see me just buy all this shit?
For one, I wasn't behind you. I was behind you right when you got done.
Oh,
I walked off. I was looking at the
You were
t-shirts,
right there looking at the dude, looking at the games, looking at me like, I don't know what you're doing right now.
My eyes were transfixed by this.
The dude kept saying the titles of the games, like, so this God of War, right? I'm like, Adam knows I have this game, so...
So you were an 18-year-old boy in a porn store being like, dude... Go ahead and get this real quick, man. Oh,
yep,
yeah,
and that's what I was.
Daddy Long Dick. Oh, yeah.
So... Adam has now joined the world that Chris and I know of, the PlayStation 4 world, and he has 4 awesome fucking games to play at your own leisure and your own time. And I'm sure we'll get to some of that when your week pops around. But yeah, that was a pretty fun. I'm telling you, that was happy for me for many reasons. One, you're my podcast partner, so now we can talk to you about it and not be like, well, we don't want to tell you about this really cool thing that happened in God of War. But second, like we've both been telling you, any one of those games, maybe The Last of Us Remastered, I could shave a point or two off for that one as a must play, but Bloodborne, God of fucking War, Persona 5, yeah, you're in it now. You got the cream of the crop for that system. So
well, it's good to buy if you're gonna buy a console and drop fucking money, you might as well just buy like right at the end of the console's life and just go ahead and get all the exclusives.
This is topical too, since a lot of big news right now is the fucking PlayStation 5 shit's going around. But from what I've heard, I was right before y'all got here, I was listening to the Easy Allies podcast, and they were talking about, look, some of these companies don't even have dev kits for this shit yet. So don't the name PlayStation 5 went out there, but don't expect too much from now seeing 7 PlayStation 5 demo games.
Speaking of 7. That is actually the biggest clue towards the PlayStation 5.
Oh, do you think so?
Yep. And here's the thing. All right. Imagine. They said Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to come out episodically.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. For one, Square has a history of jumping fucking console generations when they're in the middle of making a Final Fantasy. They did it with
they did
Final
it.
Fantasy VII was supposed to be on the PlayStation, or not on the PlayStation. It was
Super
supposed to be on the
64.
Super Nintendo. It's supposed to be a Super Nintendo game. Final Fantasy IV, which is 2 in the US, was supposed to be on the NES. And it jumped to Super Nintendo. They typically jump one generation anyway, but that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is this thing is going to be released episodically.
Yeah.
Do you really think they're going to release one on the PS4 or just keep going with the PS4 when the PS5's out?
See that,
or do you think they're going to wait for PS5, drop it then, and hit all the episodes?
Chris, and I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
Think, because he hasn't seen this yet, and again, he doesn't know how good he has it with the fucking PS4 Pro version of that game, but think of God of War. Remember how we went through God of War, and we every 5 minutes we stopped playing the game and looked the fuck around and went, my God, the level of detail and graphical beauty this game can point out. Yep. Would you honestly care if the 7 remake was on the PlayStation 4?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't care either. The only issue with it is if it's the first episode comes out on 4 and the second comes out on 5.
Do we even know they're still doing the episodic thing? I thought they backed off that.
Well, I mean, I think it's just, to me, it's why do it in episodes?
Yeah, that's stupid.
I mean, it's just dumb. I mean, the first, you said 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it came in, your 4-disc, 3-disc.
Oh, bringing back a correction from yesterday.
Yeah. But I mean, so why do it in episodes?
If I remember,
just stupid.
if I remember Square Enix talking about this, and we'd actually have to look this up because I don't know if they actually made this quote, but I think their reasoning behind it was that this game is so fucking big that we are nowhere near close to being even a third of the way through, but we may have close to a third through. So if we can develop it chunks at a time, we'll give you chunks.
Okay, here's one thing.
I think.
Here's one thing. Let me jump in real quick. If they do it episodically, which I agree is total shit. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I want you to look at the way they released 15. Okay, they did 15 episodically, quotation marks.
Yeah.
Okay, they said, okay, here's the content, and then here's more content, and then here's more content, and then here's more content. And they just kept expanding on the world and expanding on the characters. If they do it that way, I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, but what would they add? Because with 15, the base game was the game. I mean, what would you add? Oh, you don't get Vincent's story or Yuffie's story until episodes 2 or 3?
That is a very solid point.
They're going to be DLC?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you have the extra characters that you actually play as if you did specific missions. Now you have to wait for them to be downloaded content.
Golden Saucer coming soon in episode 6.
Oh.
Now, what I could see, and what me and Mike talked about this, is you could possibly do just Midgar for episode 1. And imagine them not giving you the Midgar you remember, but allowing you to go to sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and walk around on top of the plates and visit all the to see what the fuck's being destroyed.
Let me paint this picture for you. Let's say take all of us. Take your mind out of us that have played 7 and know 7, have enjoyed it. Imagine somebody that has us that have played it on their shoulders, going, "This is 7. This is a big fucking deal. You're gonna want to play this game." They go, "Okay, I'll play 7," and they get in a one part of it, the first section, and they're in Midgar. Now, assume that they have put budget in, and I guess this would be, again, but I hate to just use Chris's analogy here, but imagine they flesh out Midgar enough to be as large as, say, half of like God of War. They put that level of scale, scope, and detail, and they're like, wow, there is a lot of shit to this town. And then you beat Midgar, big quotes, you beat, right. And then you leave, and they go, oh, by the way, bitch, this is one city of the world, and the rest of the world is fleshed out. So them having that moment, I think, would be awesome. But that's giving them credit for taking a game and splitting it up into 3. When I'm the gamer that just says, take your fucking time. Well, it'll be 2026 before the game comes out. Then it's 2026. We've already waited this long.
To me, though, I mean, as like, how I game, I don't want to wait that long. I mean, I do love discovery and getting immersed in the game, but then again, there is still the point of there's almost too much for me to go ahead and explore. I would think, okay, do give me somewhat of a limit. Mm-hmm. I get, you want to go ahead and make it 3 episodes or whatever. The first one was Midgar. All right, that's fine. But I just think, honestly, if you just finish the game whole, bigger, better, polished, and just give me the game, mm-hmm. I'll buy that. Mm-hmm. You give me the game in episodes, I'm almost like, screw it.
Yeah, I don't watch TV.
It's just too much. I can't sit there and dedicate 80 hours, 60, 80 hours on this episode, and then another one on this one, and another one on this one.
Not to mention, we know enough about how games work, how the cycle works, the time it takes to make these games. Yeah, so if you're telling me that you released episode 1 in January of 2021, but for magical reasons, you're making part 2 not come out till the beginning of 2023, so did you purposely make the game take that long, or were you actually working on the game that long?
One part of the thing is that once they make that first episode, the tools, all the character models, all that shit's been built.
Yep, you have no excuse except for polish.
It cuts their time significantly to make the next episode.
Do we think that they're in a mad dash to make this game happen? Do we think they're...
No, obviously not.
No, not at all. I'll say one thing. Over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, I leave my TV on whenever I go to sleep. Sci-Fi Channel had the Harry Potter marathon on.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Daniel Radcliffe go from,
9 years old to 27 years
10
old.
years old to 20. I was like, he's wearing, Chris is wearing a Muggle t-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
which brings me to this. So
That can segue.
instead of doing a Lord of the Rings where they filmed all of it at once and just released every year,
Mm-hmm.
they decided to film one at a time. So you're telling me I went from 10-year-old Harry Potter to damn near 30?
Mm-hmm.
And it's what I'm afraid of if they do that episodically is, okay, you do have, Adam said, you have all the character models and everything like that. But I mean, as the consoles get better and better, so you're trying to do more and more polish as they come up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, give me the whole game.
Yeah.
All at once.
That's what everybody's saying.
And just don't even bother with that.
I have enough thought in my mind to make rational sense of the episodic release, but if you're asking me, the gamer that's going to be dropping the fucking money for this whole project, and going to be a gamer that's going to be bolstering this, like, guys, can't wait, this remake's going to be great, you watch, game's going to be great, then if you're coming to me, the money man, and saying, what do you want us to do? Take your fucking time. And again, when they try to pull, okay, just you don't understand how a game. I understand that it's going to take you a while to put all the time, the money, the effort, the polish, the rework, oh shit, the system didn't work, scrap it. I get all that. 2028 does not bother me when you're making a fucking Final Fantasy VII remake remaster.
And I agree with
it.
I agree with that completely. But I want you to think, like, it would be really easy to break the game up into 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have the Midgar section.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd have the section that goes from the end of getting out of Midgar to the City of the Ancients.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of this 2 and 3
Mm-hmm.
for
You
PlayStation
could do it.
would be
Yeah, I
the
agree.
3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
So then, do you make the bosses Emerald and Ruby? Do you make them
Paid DLC.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to say,
no, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
do you
no.
make them a DLC or
That wasn't the bad one. What was the thing that you said?
Oh no! Last episode I mentioned you said, well, should they be able to change costumes and shit like that? And I said, oh hell no.
Oh.
And the reason is there's going to be a paid DLC for a Tifa Bunny suit. I swear to God, that's going to happen.
that wasn't it. That wasn't it. It was press X to something or a cut scenes and something. Or are we talking about another game?
Being able to do a QuickTime event to like save Aerith or something.
Oh,
yeah.
that still burns me alive.
You're like, press X. And it's like,
People do listen to this, Adam, and somebody in Square just threw their heads up. Guys, I've got it. Quick time events to save Aerith.
Yep.
I'm coming for you, son of a bitch.
It's going to happen. And I'm going to lock my door when I see it.
In any event, Final Fantasy VII Remake is supposedly still underway. It's very topical for Rock, as I know he's played it before. He can talk about it, but we got a lot to go over tonight, boys. We got a lot. There's 4 of us here to talk about weeks, and I think as customary on the End of Time cast, we'll let Rock go first. And Rock, you have a very special occasion on your shoulders because we always have to go through Chris and Adam and myself talking about what we played the past week, and even then, believe it or not, we cram a lot of shit into it because Chris will play 12 games, Adam will play a couple games, I'll pace 11. What is your gaming history, man? Where did you come from in the gaming world? What was your gaming like before you came on this podcast?
Hey, Joe, well, I mean, I started out, my family lived on an Air Force base, and I got my first actual console was a Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, back in the day,
Chris is shaking his head. Yeah.
Actually got a video game with your console.
Mm-hmm. They're bringing that back.
Yeah,
slowly.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe.
Well, it was also very to the console itself. I mean, Nintendo would have a Mario game, Sega would have a Sonic game. Now it's just like, oh, well, you can get a Red Dead Redemption 2 bundle or a Spider-Man bundle or
you can download
fucking Fortnite iPhone. Yay.
I'm talking about like, man, I spent money on my parents spent money on this game, and or this console. I should get a game with it. And the first Sonic game was on there, and I fell in love with it. I played it over and over and over again, and begged my parents to get me more video games, and never really happened. I got like terrible games that were like on sale. I don't remember the actual name of it, but it was Tasmania, I think.
Yeah.
Where you played as the Tasmanian Devil.
And I promise Mars or something like that.
That thing was okay. The first 3 levels were all right, and then became insanely impossible. My brother, I remember actually, me and him tag team to beat it, but it was just so dumb. But I do remember having shit.
I remember having shit. Welcome to the podcast.
Mortal Kombat, that's what it was. Mortal Kombat, because I had a Sega Genesis and none of my friends did. They all had Super Nintendos, and I didn't have to put in the code for the blood. And all the kids on base wanted to come to my house because they were like, dude, man, it's so cool. I was like, all right, yeah, cool. But you realize I only have like one controller, right? And they were like, what? So we mowed grass and bought a second controller as a community controller. Yes, you just pulled this thing up. How terrible does that look?
I mean, there's a lot to take into play when you bring up a game from the old days, man. You got to take in the time it was released.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, you don't realize, it was nice and easy.
Buddy, I had to play Zool for the Super Nintendo because I have nothing else to play. I understand getting down in there and doing
You understand
whatever.
Getting down in there.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I know.
I was the fucking vagabond in my school of being like, hey, man, no, that's a bad one. Let me use a more accurate one. I was a fucking crack fiend in school. I'd be like, hey, man, I heard you was talking the other day. I heard you had like a Nintendo. Yeah? Yeah, I do. Man, what you got for that Nintendo, man? Come on. I've got like Punch Out. Dude, I'm going to borrow that shit, man. I'm going to borrow that, man. I'll let you borrow like Duck Hunt and Mario as a combo.
You're one of those kids bringing fucking games to school. And sneaking them out of your backpack.
Yes.
And to your friends.
I know, joke, dude. I had a fucking system and bringing games to one person and trading them to another and borrowing to another one. It got bad.
I had other friends, that had the Super Nintendo, and I got to play, Super Mario Super Mario World, and I was like, damn, I want to support my system. And you and me have gone back on this. I'm like, Sega Genesis, man, 16-bit processing.
Oh, man, you're digging up old wounds now.
Blast processing. It was like, okay, well, you guys still were missing like what, like 1 or 2 colors. Y'all didn't have.
Whoa.
Yeah, y'all didn't have.
Come swinging.
Whoa.
It was that whole concept. I was so mad because honestly, Nintendo did have more.
Games?
Well, yeah.
Games?
In general, yeah.
Soul?
Games. They just had more games.
I'll even let Chris do the hard work for you.
Okay.
I will name off some Super Nintendo franchises for you.
Yeah, and Sega does not.
Mario, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, Mario RPG, Final Fantasy VI. The list goes on. Chris, name me
Legend of Zelda.
Legend of Zelda. Yeah. I was gonna sneak that one in as a dagger when he threw out Vector Man. I was like, shing!
There were so many franchises that still exist today, but okay, Sega does have the Sonic, but have you seen Sonic games lately?
Yes.
Yes. How terrible are they?
And I know.
I swear to God, I want to go Sega all the way USA, baby. Yeah, go ahead. And I look at it, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Well,
Sonic the Hedgehog is a werewolf?
Whoa, that's
Sonic.
I think Sonic Unleashed is close to a decade old by now, maybe.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I was like, what person in that boardroom was like,
this is where I'll give you the credit that Sega deserves. And it really ain't even Sega, because I think the Sonic Mania that wasn't a Sega, that was a Sega property, but that wasn't made by Sega. I think that was a fan game that got licensed. Anyway, Sonic Mania is a perfect example. It's a 2D old school Sonic game where they said, hey, all that 3D shit that y'all were doing and the werewolves and Shadow waving a gun around and the kart racing, get rid of all that. Go back to Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles and look at the gameplay. Look what they did in those games to make Sonic fun. Whether or not it was perfect is irrelevant. We want to capture that. And they made Sonic Mania. And Chris can attest to this. Adam, did you play Sonic Mania?
Fuck no.
Oh, you're a son of a bitch then. But yes, that is a game that captured. But what I'm getting at is it had a time, and that time's gone, and it takes other people to come in and go, hey, let's roll this back to what made it fun.
But I mean, even if you roll it back, nowadays games are so immersed that, I mean, like a 2D side scroller is almost, it's all like nostalgia. It's like, okay, give your wife a kiss. You better give your wife a kiss. Thank you. It's almost nostalgia. You don't get as much out of it nowadays. Even me. If I go back and I play the Sonic, after stage 3, I'm just like, God. At stage 1, the hill zone and everything, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I remember doing all this. By stage 3, I'm like, God, this is the same old bullshit.
Well, this is where Sonic, and I'm saying this through closed eyes, this is where Sonic shines in a way. It had its turn to go 3D and super adventure. It hasn't really had a RPG yet. It hasn't had a real-time strategy yet. To tell you the truth, it probably has. But I don't think it's just Sonic. It has to be the people that produce this shit. Because when I look at Sonic Mania, they said, we're not doing any of that shit. We're not acting like that. We're going to take Sonic back to the 2D, side-scrolling, running and jumping, and this is where he lives. This is where he belongs. That's all I need from Sonic. You come to me and say, hey, I've got a fucking Sonic real-time strategy. I don't need that. I don't think Sonic needs that.
Sonic RPG.
Sonic Mania is published by Sega, but the developers are listed as Pagoda West Games and Headcanon.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make a mod for Super Mario RPG.
The Sonic RPG.
Yeah, the Sonic RPG.
In any event, we're getting way sidetracked. So you had a Genesis back in the day. You like Sonic games. Take us through more of your gaming life, man.
Man. After that, big long gap. My brother bought a PlayStation. I used to play a bunch of PlayStation games on there. Silent Hill, Resident Evils, all that kind of shit. Silent Hill.
So Adam, I see you over there making a face when he said Resident Evil. Are you just?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, it was like
don't reach for that mic.
Silent Hill. No, Silent Hill was seriously at the time one of the ones that got me. It was like. You didn't have... I mean, I played Resident Evil first, okay? Resident Evil kind of gave you ammo. Silent Hill didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Didn't fucking give you nothing.
You hit people with the big-ass board in Silent Hill.
Okay.
That's all the ammo you need.
That's all you needed. It was a big-ass board. No, I remember running, and I used to play it with the lights off.
Oh, man.
Which made it awesome eerily, and I was really like... I try to go to sleep, I'm like, oh...
Chris, how many Silent Hills have you went through in your life?
None.
Wow. No. I did not know that.
Any Silent Hills?
Nope.
Wow.
Really? I've never been a big, horror, scary game person. I played Resident Evil 1 and 2, and I tried one of the later ones, but yeah. The controls still haven't been fixed.
The thing is with horror games today, if we're just putting Silent Hill in perspective, there's so many games that just blow Silent Hill out of the water as far as creepy factor, scary factor, jump scares, all that.
PT would like a word with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
PT would be a big one. I mean, but at the time.
Yeah, at the time,
all you had was, okay, you have a pistol. These are the things you need to kill. But you need to run around and solve puzzles. So that was pretty much it. I mean, Resident Evil was like the staple. Okay, I can solve a puzzle, but I still have enough ammo. Ammo is kind of scarce. I do still have some health I can find all over the place. Silent Hill for me was, at a time, the first time I played with it. The first time I played it,
nice,
was like, I had like 9 bullets running through the game. No maps, no nothing. There was no Google.
So
around.
Silent Hill put a real emphasis on the survival aspect.
Like, holy,
is that what you look for, Adam? When you hear, I remember you having me and you had a big discussion about survival horror in general and how that term's misused.
Let me take you back to
reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
When I was playing Resident Evil, the very, very first one.
Okay. All right.
I did not mind Resident Evil, the first one, because it was a very revolutionary game, had a lot of cool stuff in it, a lot of stuff that had never been seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One aspect of it that I grew to intensely dislike was the puzzle solving aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it kind of drug me out of it got in the way of my, oh shit, there's a zombie, oh shit, there's a dog, oh man, look at all this cool stuff that's going on. That kind of stuff, that was what drew me into Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what did it kill the game? No. What killed Resident Evil for me was the fact that Resident Evil 2 decided to take that same complete and utter emphasis on reality. It went from being like, okay, well now we're in the middle of the town. Okay.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the town. It's no longer a set up scenario where you're in this mansion where they had all these reasons to have everything key coded and not allow certain scientists any farther. Okay. Now you're in the middle of the fucking police department. Okay. The place where citizens go every day and cops of fucking Leon Kennedy, where did he get recruited from? Not fucking Umbrella Inc. Okay, not all these fucking cops were in on this shit. They must have thought it was pretty goddamn weird that you had to fucking push a statue over to get into the next room. Okay, that's what broke. It just broke all the fucking immersion for me. Just all of it. It was just like, yep, nope, this is how this series is going to be. This is what it wants to be. And I was like,
I do feel your hatred for that, but I mean, at the same time, I think they were like, okay, we need to put in puzzles. They need to be moving progressively through this game.
Yeah.
It can't be the same stuff, okay? So it's got to be find this key, find this ruby, move this stupid statue, push this statue off the second story onto the first. Or
I feel like survival itself is a genre, and they saw what survival could be and said, okay, but if that's going to rake in 1,000 people, how do we rake in 10,000? Put something else gaming in there. Well, what else can we put in here? You can work in puzzles, I guess.
I'm telling you that, one, I would be better off if it was, okay, you need to search this location to find this crowbar to yank this board off this window so you can go further.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Something more based in fucking reality. Okay? Or if it was supernatural, okay, then to have some kind of how...
You need to find this EMF detector in order to find where the ghost is hiding in this corner.
Yeah.
That's right. You need a PKE meter. Okay, and a proton pack. But no, I'm just saying, if they had something supernatural, it's like, okay, well then maybe there's this ancient Mayan dagger that you need to pull out of this corpse and go shove it up the monkey's butt or whatever you have to fucking do to unlock the door. That at least it's supernatural, so it's not gonna fucking make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But when this is all reality. I built this thing to be just like this, and nobody ever asked any questions.
Yeah, I think that's what our discussion boiled down to, is that the game itself tries to play, though arcadey, and I'm using big quotes with that word, okay, as arcadey as Resident Evil tries to be, they try to make it realistic. Oh shit, Leon's in this hole. He's brand new. He's here. What's going on? You got to get out and survive. They took that and said, oh, by the way, here's all this other stuff doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I get it.
One thing is, if you're going to have this ultra unrealistic fucking scenario with the I'm going to push the statue over and that's the only way to unlock the bathroom. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the only way to get. If you want to take a shit, you've got to fucking find the bathroom key, which is 6 floors down, and bring that up to unlock the desk, which then you can push over and fucking get into the goddamn bathroom stall.
You must have hated the end of Metal Gear Solid then.
Oh man, the end of Metal Gear Solid, we had to run back and make the key card change. Fucking,
Yeah.
At least that was somewhat like plausible.
Say, get the fuck out of town. I've got a key card that changes with temperature.
That's
well,
right.
maybe in that world with all that high tech shit.
Yeah.
It
was like, ooh, it works off the electrolytes in your body.
I get
It's
what
like,
you're
okay.
saying. You just have a wall against that puzzled bullshit.
I'm saying that
I tried to make the
even if they
confession to get him to play Resident Evil 7, and he's like, nah.
my favorite game of the Resident Evil series is actually 4 because I just watched collages of Leon getting murdered.
Oh, well, you had me. You gave me hope.
Which one? Remind me. Which one was 4? Was
4 was the one that it was Leon. It was over the shoulder.
Yeah, it was. It was where he was.
It was the lost
He had,
plot.
no, that was 5. He had
That was 5.
He had. See, even I know this. He had the one enemy with the chainsaw and the bag over his head, and you chase him around the level.
Oh,
And he would
okay.
chainsaw you in half. And it was like,
Yeah, that was the best part.
Leon Scott Kennedy. It had that.
Watch
little-
him just cry.
Yeah, Napoleon guy. Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
watch him
yeah.
rip his innards out.
Arguably the best are Resident Evil in the entire series until Resident Evil 2 comes out anyway. But Resident Evil 7 took a lot of what you said and said, okay, we're going to keep a percentage of that stupid shit in there, but we're going to make it all make even more sense. They've tried to appease you. I'm telling you now, I don't see it ever happening. They're not going to pull away from that puzzle shit. It's going to be part of it. They want that in there to add more than just
concur.
find bullets, get away, find bullets, get
I
away.
get it, and there's a percentage of y'all that like it, just blindly accept this shit, and that's why they keep pumping it out.
Well, see, that's why I said. I mean, Silent Hill. Silent Hill had all these puzzles. It wasn't like a new age kind of city or anything. It was all just set in,
Silent Hill.
Yeah, that was it. It was all this. That's why it made, and they gave you less ammunition. It was like, you are basically limited to 30 bullets in the game, quote unquote, and, whatever.
Pull a number of your ass. I do it all the time.
Exactly. So you have this, okay? Now survive the entire fucking time.
Mhm.
And as you get deeper and deeper into the game, you're like, well, fuck, I killed this person in the beginning of the game. I wasted 5 bullets. I now have 5 less bullets at the end of the game. There's nothing left. That's why that game scared me when I first played it. It was like, shit. It wasn't like a physical scare. It was like, holy shit, I don't fucking have anything to kill this bitch with. It was just like, I mean,
God forbid you fucking miss a shot.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
oh,
I was about to say, I mean, you're on the Ferris wheel and shit like. I was like, bruh, you don't know how many times I had to restart that whole little thing. Be like, God damn it!
So you had a Genesis back in the day. You had some Sonic games. You remember some stuff like that. You had a PlayStation.
And then, I got on the PlayStation 2. Finally upgraded. Actually got a job. Worked at a casino, so I actually had money and I could buy shit for myself. So I went not like ape shit crazy, but I went a little crazy there for a minute. I had fucking one of my favorite ones, which was a Christmas gift. Kingdom Hearts. The first Kingdom Hearts, one of my best friends at the time gave to me as a Christmas gift, and I looked at it, and I'd seen the commercials, I'd seen all the video, and I'm like, fuck is this bullshit? This pussy ass motherfucking shit. You got an RPG with some fucking Disney characters on this bitch?
Oh, come on, man. You can't be hating on Disney.
Duck on this motherfucker.
You can't be hating on Disney arbitrarily,
no,
man.
for all sakes, fucking, I was not on board that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave it to me as a Christmas gift, and I'm like, fucking goddamn it. All right, I'm done run through all my other shit. Let me put this bitch in. And then I put it in, and I started playing it, and it fucking got me.
Yeah.
From the fucking just start playing through the game, the first 15 minutes, I was like, I'm fucking hooked on this whole storyline, everything. Disney's not the main thing. They've got these characters that are coming in, which you know of from childhood. And it got me the entire fucking way.
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts had gotten me. And then I bought Kingdom Hearts 2 and ran through that shit. I fucking 100%ed both of those fucking games.
I bet I could ask.
You know the third one's coming out soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know the third one's coming out. What year is it?
2018.
2018? When was the last one that came out? On
Oh,
a
that was
console?
1974.
On a console with 1974. That's what I thought it was. It
Came
was
out
about
right after Palm, didn't it?
yeah. It was. I remember playing on. It wasn't PlayStation 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're so fucked up right now.
The Odyssey.
It was Cloud.
It was the Odyssey. Was it the Odyssey 2?
It was actually on Cave Walls.
All right,
That's what it was.
man.
Yeah.
Wah,
I
wah, wah.
honestly, no. I was like, okay, what, 20 years ago or something like that? Whatever, pulling numbers out of my ass. But I mean, yeah, I would have fucking loved for them to have come out with that shit fucking way long ago. They had this-
2005.
2005.
Wow.
When the first one came out?
13
Or the last
fucking.
one?
And we're about to be coming up on 14 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's like when you had a franchise that you made millions of dollars off of, not only the company that made it, Disney's got their fucking hands in it, not like Disney needs any more fucking money than what they already got,
Mhm.
but you had this shit and you let it just kind of stall. You
Yeah,
did
I'm
this-
so. Is your
Square
question?
had other things to do, you know?
Is
They
your-
want to make Final Fantasy X 4 times.
Is your question how do they fuck this up? Because there's a good solid answer.
Not-
The answer is you release a game between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and you don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
And you have to have played that to really get the full story of what happens
Yeah.
in 2. And then you release other games around those and those all tie in. Then you release 2 more games that people are like, I'm fucking out by now.
Yeah.
And then you say, we should make a sequel.
And see, I do remember that all about the commercials and stuff like that. I never had any of those little fucking. Most of them are what, handhelds and shit like
Most
that.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And they all tie in.
I didn't
They're
have any of
all
that.
mostly important.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that, so I'm like,
You got
okay.
a list, Chris? I think you got that. I got a list
yeah.
look.
Yeah, he's got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a timeline. We got Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-huh.
We got Kingdom Hearts 2, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 about to come out.
Right.
This has like 12 games on it
Yes.
for the Kingdom Hearts
Yes.
timeline.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts, the mobile game.
And this is
Like, why come out with that many individual ones when you could have put all of that attention into doing just a third
gotta
one?
milk that fucking property,
I know,
bro.
I'm not asking you a question, but I mean, it seems kind of bullshit. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I get it. You know what? You're a company. You want to make money. Let's string you along. Which stringing you along is also what I fucking hate about downloadable content.
Yeah,
Is,
Adam.
Hey, wait, we got this game. Okay, gotcha. All right, you beat it? All right. About another 6 months from now, we're going to have downloadable content that we're going to charge you. You paid $60 for that game. Okay, then it's going to be about another $20. You're like just slowly just pulling money out of my wallet, hand over fist,
Mhm.
and I fucking hate that. You know what? Give me a good, solid base game, and if you come out with some content that's downloadable, make it fucking worthy. Don't give me, oh, you got...
There are companies that have good
3
DLC
levels.
though. You know they.
I feel like downloadable content has killed the concept of an expansion pack.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I see the same thing.
But
I mean, for me, expansion pack is like, I mean...
not every company sucks at it too.
shooters. For me, expansion pack is like, okay, you get 3 new maps, you get guns,
New
all this
weapons,
other kind
new
of shit.
balancing.
I fucking, you know what? You know me.
Mhm.
As
I
much
do.
as
You're my best
as much as I
friend.
know about all that. I was like, dude, give me a shooter and
Mhm.
give me that downloadable. But I mean, when you're talking about like an RPG or anything else like that, that's open world, when you're giving me a DLC and it's like, okay, we opened up like 2 new areas and, you know, say 5-10 missions, side missions. It's all the same thing to me.
There's all kind of varying degrees of that. We'll have a whole entire DLC episode one day. And
I mean, you got Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is the last game I can think of that came out with proper, actual expansions on
yeah.
Butcher?
Yeah.
Witcher.
They
The
butchered
Witcher.
it.
No.
Witcher 3.
Witcher. Witcher 3. Sorry. I was opening up a can.
Butcher 3. You're opening up a can of whoop ass. He's like, yeah, I'm about to whoop some ass.
Do you remember that first villain from Diablo, the original game, the Butcher? Well, we got Butcher 3. Coming at you in 3D. 3D.
Yeah, but I can tell you what happened with Kingdom Hearts, why it's this whole mess. Square Enix.
Yeah, that's another. That's
How
yeah.
they just like went upside down on like
Because if you look, Kingdom Hearts 2002, right?
Yeah.
I looked up Square Enix when the whole merger happened. 2003.
Yep.
Yep.
I told you this shit.
Yeah.
So 2 was already in the works.
But see, it's not just that we're being like we're being petty overlords looking down at Kingdom Hearts and going, this shit's just garbage. You have the way this got ruined was also the writing. This thing tried to be way fucking more than what it really needed to be. It told this huge, confusing, convoluted Xenogears level of story, but put part 1 in this game, part 2 in that game, part 3 in this game, part 4. So it's a little bit of Disney milking, it's a little bit of Square fucking up, but it's also the writing that made this like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
It was like almost somebody Square Enix when they first started was like, you know what I think I am? Quentin Tarantino. I'm gonna fucking start at this point, and then I'm gonna go back here to the beginning, and then I'm just gonna move all around.
It's like the writer
get the whole movie. I was like,
it's like the writer had ideas, but nobody told him to stop. Nobody said, no, we should not do that. They were, fuck it. He's right. He's going off on another 33 over 36 nights again. Let him go.
He was a writer, but he had no fucking clue. He never went to class on how to write a storyboard.
Will bash.
It almost seems like he's like, dude, I know I got this fucking huge idea, and he wrote it all out, and then completely in college skipped how to write a storyboard. Was like,
let me take this train.
He's got this thing written down in like 7 notebooks and on scrap like napkins and shit.
It's on napkins and everything like that. Like there's fucking Waffle House fucking syrup poured on one or something.
And he's in the office of the Square like CEO, and CEO's like, yeah, that sounds fucking great.
That sounds good. Does anybody know what the fuck he's talking about?
Exactly.
No?
It's like,
let him go then.
It's the movie Memento where he's got all this shit tattooed all over his body.
Don't you dare.
He's got it tattooed all over his body and just says, and here, look, hey, they're all in black capes for some reason, and there's like fucking 7 or 8 of them, and then we're just, we're gonna go back and what the hell happens after that?
We've brought this up before. There is a good. I have to look it up. I may put it in the Facebook note itself, but there is a good. It's a solid, pretty much 20-minute video that actually does a stellar job of taking everything before Kingdom Hearts 3 and concisely telling it and making it all make sense. That way, when you go into Kingdom Hearts 3, hopefully you'll be caught up to speed properly. But that's pretty sad when a 20-minute video can do that. And I've played some of them games and I can't make sense. And I'm not the only one. So, PlayStation 2... Did you ever get into PlayStation 3, 4, and all that, or is that's kind of where it all kind of tapered off for you?
That was about it. After PlayStation 2, I switched over to Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
When I started at work at O'Charlie's with you, you and Johnson and everybody, we started, hanging out at the apartments and stuff like that, and we started playing Halo.
Yep, where our Halo nights began. Yep,
blew up, man. The Halo parties, everything else like that. And from then on, it was pretty much just first-person shooters. Because it was so much fun. I remember the times that we had, just like, okay, there's 4 people out here in the living room. There's 4 people in the bedroom. Everybody's facing each other. Rocks was my favorite one. Just everybody has all rockets. And that's it.
Man, we cracked the fuck out on Halo night, man. We meet up like twice a week. We have as many people as we can fit in somebody's apartment, multiple consoles, multiple TVs. We got cats eating money. We got all kind of shit going on.
It was every Tuesday at least. Everybody had Tuesday. You either had it off or it didn't fucking matter.
I was in college at the time, and I lived so far away from you.
Yeah.
So I would come over for Halo night, stay all night, be the last person to leave, and when it come time to leave, man, can I just like sleep on your couch? I don't give a fuck. And I spent the night at your house so many nights and get up and fucking take my ass to school.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
No, that shit was fun. That was the beginning because I had played Halo campaign with my ex-sister-in-law, and I was like, okay, I see why everybody likes this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Halo 2 came along, and then after Halo 2 was whenever we started doing the Halo parties,
Mm-hmm.
and we switched back and forth. It was Halo 2, Halo 1, whatever. And then just slowly coming to ranks. You still did not beat me in my house.
No,
as you
fuck
say.
you. I will never let this go. I will never let this go.
Never.
You challenged me. I beat your ass, and you said, DJ, run that back, and then I beat you again, and you have had this myth in your head that I made this up or lied about it. I do not make up shit about beating people in games, but I beat you in your own house when in Halo 2 twice.
I did challenge you the first time we had the invisibility and the overshield on.
Mm-hmm.
And you camped out.
I won.
You camped out.
Boy, the fabrications of this guy.
No, you camped out and you won that first one.
I will take this. I will take this to my fucking grave. I beat you in your own house twice, back to back. You know how I remember this? Because when you came back down the hall, I had to ask you if you wanted to go again. You wasn't even talking. You was just so mad that you got beat.
No,
I was like, "Do you want to go again?" And you were like, "Yeah."
That was after the first one. After the second one, when we turned off the overshield and the invisibility, I owned you.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Owned you.
Negative.
I owned you so bad. Like,
you
corner,
kept talking
and I
so
said,
much
"Where's
shit.
my money?"
You kept talking. You fed it to your fucking cat. That's where my money went.
Yeah, no. I owned you.
No.
God.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
We're gonna have to have some kind of like rematch.
I'm fine with that.
We're gonna have to get us a rematch.
You ever seen 8 Mile? I'm gonna murder this man.
We should have that rematch.
He didn't say it country like that. I'm gonna murder this man.
We should have a video of this so we can have the whole world see how badly I own.
That's fine.
This will be just like on how in Game of Thrones they have trial by combat. This will be the trial to see who was lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
that's fine.
The winner is the one that was right.
You see what pisses me off?
Every single time.
Adam, Chris, this is what pisses me off the most about this whole bullshit story. There was like
it may not be bullshit.
There was 6 or 8 different people in this house when this happened. And yes, Rock, me and you talk shit back and forth playfully all the time.
None of them
but this time you were going above and beyond. You were like, "No, you are garbage." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not that fucking bad. I'll fucking beat you now." And you were like, "Well, bring it on." I beat you and beat you again, and then everybody shut the fuck up. This is a dramatic moment in Halo Night.
No.
And for some weird reason, nobody remembers this.
See, this was the biggest thing, is it wasn't, I didn't call you all garbage and shit like that. I did say I was better than you, which is still true.
Oh my God.
But at the time,
you shut the fuck up. You shut up, you fucking sweet coding hater. I don't want to hear shit out of you.
But at the time, yeah, you're right. Whenever we did play, we asked everybody that was there that night, and everybody apparently.
Oh, I just don't remember.
Apparently, they all live in a soap opera because everybody got amnesia. Everybody's like, "I don't know what happened." I was like, "Yeah, but bro, you can't."
I want to thank Rock for being a guest on the podcast. It's good having you on.
Yeah. We're gonna see this shit through. I ain't letting this go. I want to know. The gods will decide. The gods of gaming.
It is what it is, man. I remember, and I'll always remember. I'll have it in my head, and that's what matters to me.
And you know what? It's. I don't know what great psychologist or whoever said it, but
it's Hitler.
We only Hitler. Okay. The only truth that we know is I think, therefore I am.
Uh-huh.
And I think you're so lost in that in your head that you think you won Therefore, you are the winner.
You are the
When I know that I lost the first one, but stomped you out like a cockroach on the second one.
No.
To be continued.
Speaking of to be continued, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, but thanks, Rock, for giving us a history of the Rock lineage of video games, man. It's good to know. It's good to know old history of where people come from and what games they played.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Chris, it's been a week for you, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of driving.
Yeah, lots of turkey for all of us. I mean, I know we kind of glossed over Thanksgiving, but that did just happen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Drove 15 hours over 2 days from Canada, according to Michael.
Yep.
Canada.
Yeah. So my gaming is actually pretty short for the week.
Isn't that the guy who had that red motorcycle in Akira?
Canada. Yeah.
Canadian?
Good pull.
Yeah.
Not.
Speaking of
I see the Adam quality of joke coming at me.
The last time I saw the redub of Akira, they called him Canada.
Oh God,
And I was
that's a bad dub, buddy.
So mad over that thing. I was like, man, this is one of the animes that got me into it. Sorry to cut you off, Chris.
It's all good.
But yeah, I was like, they were like, Canada! I was like, oh my God, I fucking swear to God.
You know, flipping that coin around in Persona 5, there's somebody's name. I think it's their last name, and they pronounce it, but it's not pronounced correctly. I have to look it up. It pisses me off when I hear it, but yeah. I'm fucking anal with shit just like you are. When I hear a name and it's like, you're not, can you pronounce that the way it's supposed to be pronounced? I know I'm not Japanese, but I know that says Canada. That's what they say. Fuck you.
The entire time.
Unless it's Japanese, and then it is Canada. But anyway.
So you drove down from Canada.
Yep.
Yeah, near about. I'm not too far from it, being up in Ohio. But yeah, so my gaming is pretty short. Really 2 games. First one, more Magic the Gathering Arena. I mentioned last time that I was Bronze 2 and that I was retiring, but I can't stop playing. It's one of those things. I gotta go on and get my wins every day, or at least try to.
Damn, this got hooks in you now, huh? Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how is that? I mean, I've wondered.
It's amazing.
I played the card game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was big into Magic for a while, and I had started. Don't fucking laugh. Why the fuck you
It's so funny.
The audience can't see this bullshit, Adam, and now you're making him stop it. Adam's over here giving me. So Rock is leaned over trying to share this microphone, and Adam keeps giving me this wide-eyed look, and he starts stroking Rock's shoulder, and I'm like, we are not on a video. People can't see this.
I don't know if it's almost like a don't go down here, or if it's like it's an
go down here.
If it's like an AA meeting, like it's
wanted to go down.
All did this as a.
Sorry, I get cuddled and I have to stretch.
I was just.
Is the only bro humper not in this room right now, Chris? I think Chris is the only one. I think all of us have touched each other's bodies affectionately once or twice.
Oh, that means Chris got to be initiated.
I'm going to stay silent on that because I've been humped on very similar occasions, and I have humped before. I'm a recovering humper.
So Magic the Gathering.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, because I did, I mean, the physical card game, but I mean, I haven't, in years played it, but I did download an app on or something on my laptop and started playing it, but it was like garbage.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So Arena is actually still in beta.
Okay.
But it's very polished. It's very good. And it will hold your hand through the entire thing. And people that have played the old and new PC games say that the Arena is just blowing out of the water.
So do they still have the I guess restricted, you can only play the older or unrestricted or restricted.
Yeah.
They do
So
still
it's
have
it's
that?
basically right now. At least I don't know a lot about the sets and Magic,
Yeah.
but right now they're cycling through 3. It's the core set 2019, the Return to Ravnica, I want to say, and Dominaria.
Dominaria. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Whatever they are. So they basically cycle through those 3 that I've seen. And they have actually on the website a schedule of how things are going to rotate every week. I think it is. It sets on a draft you can do. So this is one of the best things about this, and I believe this is much different than the old one, is you don't have to buy anything.
Okay.
The game itself is free to play to start with.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy any cards. So as you start out, you have daily quests after your first day playing, and each one of those will award you a deck.
Okay.
And then as you go on, you'll earn by winning, or even just by playing, sometimes you'll earn cards, individual cards, or you'll earn entire packs to open.
Oh, okay.
So you get all these cards to use in your decks without spending a dime. I've spent no money on it. I have tons of cards.
That's good to know.
I've done two drafts now. One of them in the last week. I didn't talk about the first one I did. I think I mentioned it briefly. I went like 1-3 because it's 3 losses and then your draft is done.
Yeah, okay.
And whatever you can win up to 7 or 9 matches and then you're done. And how good you do determines what your reward is.
Okay.
And they do have a pay for currency called gems, but you earn coins no matter what you're doing. In a draft, you can either pay like 750 gems or 5,000 gold, which isn't a whole lot when you're doing the dailies. And if you get, I want to say it's 6 wins. I actually looked it up the other day. I didn't write it down though. I think it's at the 6 win mark. You make back what you put into it. So if you are good at drafting, you can make your money back and then some every time. So you never have to put a dime into it.
Very, very similar to the way Hardstone does it. Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering because, I mean, as soon as you brought that up, I was like, oh, holy shit. I mean, I fucking played the card game and stuff like that. I mean, I tote around saying I have a red-black deck that's never been beaten, but nowadays, I seriously doubt that I could fucking do that because, I mean, that was, let's see, almost 20 years ago.
Is it still in beta?
Yeah.
It is still in beta?
Yep.
Can you do friend requests and all that kind of stuff?
So they just added, and I haven't played it because I don't know anybody else that plays Arena. They actually added direct challenges. So you can actually play against your friends now.
Now, that's what I was thinking is maybe like Rock gets it and then y'all two could play.
Yeah, sure.
You know, since y'all are both Magic guys, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see which one of y'all comes out on top.
Yeah, so the first draft I did, I think I went either 1-3 or 2-3. I didn't expect to do any better. I had no idea what the cards were, knew nothing about them. I just picked. It's like, all right, I guess I'm building a black deck, or as a black-white deck because I've been playing that. So I was like, okay, I kind of know what this, and I'm like, I'm not getting any good cards. I don't know what any of these do. I don't know what good combinations are.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would be afraid of is you're just getting random shit. So, I mean, it's almost like buying the packs yourself, but I mean, I can just go out and buy a whole box for, like $80-$200 and just make my own shit as opposed to just. That's the one thing.
Yeah, in the gaming industry, we call that pay to win.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, you can pay for it, but I mean, I'm not. No, I'm not going to pay for to have something on the game.
Yeah, here's the way I look at it: is the drafts. Yeah, I'm talking about. I made a turbo deck. The draft I did this week, I went 0-3.
Wow!
I just got completely stomped, and I knew what I was doing this time. I just didn't have good cards to choose from, and I had really good opponents that I went against. So I just got stomped, but it didn't bother me because I just got a full deck of cards. And I can build my own deck using those. That's the whole reason I did it was to get cards that I wanted.
Well,
nice.
And going back to what you said earlier, Mike, it's not necessarily pay to win if it's just pay to not have to minimally grind. Does that make sense?
If they are pushing the idea, it depends on how far that gap is. in my opinion, and what I understand it to be is that if they go, okay, it's going to take you 20 hours to get from 0 to 1, or you can pay us $5 and you get to 1 just like that. To get from 1 to 2 is going to take you 6 days, or you can pay us $10 and it will take about maybe 5 minutes.
But think about it this way. I mean, I'm seeing what you're saying, but I mean, you remember whenever we were playing Call of Duty and stuff like that, you'd see people that were like level boosting and shit like that. I mean, it's almost like, okay,
I don't think you pay for that stuff though.
No,
that's just cheating a system.
You don't. You're just cheating the system. Is what I'm thinking. Is okay. I get. Yeah, you can go ahead and pay. You paid to have that. That's perfectly fine. But I mean, as just a casual player, like Chris said, I mean, I'm just gonna grind it on out and just let it go. Level boosting was a thing I fucking hated.
I feel like there's a difference between, because this is how Hearthstone works. You can pay and get 50 fucking packs of Hearthstone right off the bat. Or you can do like I do and buy 50 packs in an expansion, and then start saving your gold. I don't use it for arenas, which is kind of like the what did you call it?
Draft.
The draft. Okay, the arena works exactly the same as the draft. You get random cards, and it's just completely fucking random what you get. So if you stop paying for that, and about halfway through the expansion, you just start hoarding your gold, you'll end up with a couple thousand gold by the end of the expansion. The new expansion drops. You buy 20 packs with it. And then you're halfway to your packs before you start, as long as you're smart about the way you use your free money. Or free money.
Free currency.
Then you should be able to pretty much keep pace. You might not have certain cards. You may have to grind a little bit to dust some stuff and pick up the legendaries you want to make certain decks work. But is it pay to win? No, it's not.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I'll talk about the drafts, but you can also use your coins just to buy straight up packs. After buying both packs and the draft, I think the draft is more efficient because not only are you getting more cards for that same amount of coins, 5,000 gold is 5 packs because packs are 1,000 each. So you're getting, because a pack is 7 cards, something like that, 7, 8 cards. Whereas with the deck, you're getting 40 roughly. So it comes out to be just worth it that way. But also in the draft, you're picking cards. So as long as they show up, you can pick them. Screw if it works in your deck you're building for actually the draft matches. That's pretty much how I approached this last one. I was like, all right, I'm going to build a blue-red deck, because it's giving me some pretty good cards for that. But hey, this black card, this would be good in my main deck. This white card, good in my main deck.
So you can go ahead and just choose and then put them away.
Yep, sideboard it. Gosh. Don't even put it in the deck. Sideboard it, and it's there in my collection now. But yeah, like I was saying, as you do your daily quests, it unlocks decks for you. And then on the 7th day of doing your daily quests, it unlocks like 10 more. So all for free. And that's for doing minimal work per day, like playing 3 or 4 games.
Just playing a couple matches or something like that.
It's just ladder. You use when you start out, you get to pick a color deck, a mono deck.
Yeah.
I picked whatever. And then I used that until I got another one I liked. And I did that until I got another one I liked. And then just last week, I built my own deck after someone stomped me with one I really liked. That was also a mono white deck.
Yeah.
And now I use that. And it's amazing. Except where I went on a losing streak last night and lost my bronze 2.
Oh, shit.
So,
yeah.
Speaking all about that, I just have a question real quick. Diablo. It just, from us speaking about Magic the Gathering and getting random cards and stuff like that, I was just thinking about playing Diablo. I know everybody in this room has probably played at least one of the Diablos.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, before I got... I can see Michael sitting there smiling, grinning. Before I had to get offline, myself, one of my friends, we were... Diablo 3. it was one of the funnest thing I've had, because I've never gotten to experience having played that kind of game with other people, like in, role-playing game with other people. Never gotten that experience where everybody picked a different character and stuff like that. So my question is, what do you guys think?
I actually played Diablo 3. It's one of the not recent games ever released, but one of the recent games that I purchased. Granted, I played the last Diablo I played was Diablo 2 back in the day. I played it before. I played it enough to get. You son of a bitch. I played it enough to get like a 83, 84, some stupid 80-ish level Necromancer. And then when I found out that I couldn't take that character online, I quit the game. Out of a spiteful little shit that I was.
Good job.
Never played another Diablo anything at all ever since then until Diablo 3. I picked up Diablo 3. Now this was, again, this was very recent. Probably about 2 months ago, I picked it up and played it, tried it out, probably for about an hour or two. It didn't grab me. But there are multiple factors into that. This is, I was in between games. I was about to roll into another game. I wasn't playing online with anybody. It was just me. The story sort of kind of didn't grab me. The action could have grabbed me, I suppose. I own the fucking game, so I can go try it again and give it another try. But my first jump was, you didn't hook me. You tried, but you didn't hook me. So that's my Diablo life, pretty much. I never played the first one, and
I see, man. I was all over Diablo 3. Mm-hmm. Not of my own volition, unfortunately. I did play the first two games. I played Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and I would have liked to play Diablo 3. And it was being pressed right up into my face by Blizzard. But unfortunately, that was while I was raiding. So, yeah, that shit can get fucked. I gotta grind.
I mean, for me, the reason why I brought it up is I bought it right off the bat. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, okay, me and my wife, Tiffany, we can play this. She played Diablo 2, loved it. I mean, she didn't like 3 because I guess how much older we got. Her experience was, okay, we're just kind of doing the same thing. And I'm like, yes, I know, that's fucking awesome, isn't it? We're doing the same shit all over again. We're just beating people. And she's like, yeah, why the fuck do you want to do that over and over again? I said, because we get to go up in level and we get to get new shit. And she's like, well, I don't fucking really get that. And I'm like, you don't understand how exciting this is. And she's like, no, I mean, it's not really that exciting or anything. I'm like, who the fuck did I marry? What?
You heard it here on the podcast. Who did I marry?
Why are you doing this to me? It was just so funny. And me and my friend, we just kept going through it. And because they finished before I did, which was neither here nor there, but I mean, it was cool as shit. I thought just being able to get, I think you, Michael, if we got together and were able to play it together and stuff like that and run through it, having somebody else there to play with you and to see what you can pick up, did with me is giving me weapons and shit like that. Hey, here's weapons, here's armor, here's all this shit that you can fucking use that I can't. I'm not going to sell it or nothing like that. I think that shit would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Chris, where's
you need to go ahead and timestamp exactly when
the marriage broke.
When he said, yeah, who the hell did I marry right there? Just go ahead.
I heard that. Didn't you hear that?
That's the episode title. So
I think
do not put that on there.
It's too late. It's too late.
It's done.
Nothing gets edited from this podcast, buddy.
Nothing at
Chris,
all. Ever.
Yeah.
I apologize on behalf of the new guest and Adam, who fucking knows better. Please take your week back, man. What you been up to?
Did you just say I knew better?
Yeah, you know better.
Again, implying Adam's capable of learning.
This is correct.
But yeah, so last night, that's what I did when I got back from my dad's house, went to the hotel. I played Magic for like hours last night. Went on a massive losing streak, dropped down to Bronze 3 again. I live in Bronze League. Not surprising, I'm not great at the game, but I've almost earned my Bronze 2 back. is starting to put me against. And real quick, I don't know how much fact there is to this, but I did hear someone say that when you use the pre-built decks, their matchmaking system is weighted to put you against other pre-built decks. So you're playing against other typical beginners.
Right.
Now that I'm using a custom built one completely, I'm getting against much better people.
So
Good.
so you were just going around curb stomping the newbies.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
could just keep doing that.
Well, no, because it's not matching me against them.
Well, no, you just go back to the pre-built deck, but you're like totally awesome at
But
the
the
game now.
the pre-built decks aren't that great, so I'm just going to get stomped anyway.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, once you even start in the deck, I mean, you're eventually gonna get new cards and want to do something else.
Oh, I'm just saying, you go back and you use the limited resources they give you to just utterly fucking destroy people's hopes and dreams for this
No.
game.
I'm not going to play a Murloc deck. I'm sorry, I can't stand them. And that's the only one out of the basic decks that I think is pretty much consistently always on top. There's a white-black deck called Eternal Thirst that is one of the ones that unlocks after the week. I love that deck, and it's a lifesteal based deck that pumps and vampire deck that pumps your some of your creatures up pretty high every time you gain life, so you just have this constant thing. And my new white deck I'm using is essentially the same thing minus the vampires, added tokens that can eventually get buffed up to, instead of spawning or being created as 1/1s, they'd be created as 4/4 flying. So
Nice.
it's a massive drop.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I get it. The vampires and everything, it's the same thing, almost like the goblin deck. I mean, they come out really quick, and it's really low level, but I mean, you can wind up overwhelming whoever you're going up against.
I had
So
a
it's
match.
kind of like a zoo strategy.
I had a match the other day where I won at the end of it, and I never drew more than 2 mana.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I can't stand. I remember actually the physical game. I went into a tournament, and this guy, it was an unlimited tournament, so you could use whatever cards you wanted. And I forget the name of the card. It was an artifact. It was pull or whatever. But you can only untap 1 mana at a time. And it drove me nuts because I was running in there with high mana cost cards, but they did so much damage, and then there was other cards, artifacts, to let me search through my deck and bring them into play, but I couldn't play anything because I only had 1 mana untapped at any time, and it drove me insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I'm still having loads of fun with it. And that's still my go-to when I have a couple of minutes and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have time to, load up an actual game. I say that like it's not a real game, but
Yeah.
a long game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to play a game of Magic. Some games, may only take 5 minutes. I had
Cool.
one I think it was last night or this morning. I think it was like 45 minutes long,
Jesus.
which is, I think it's the new longest match I've had.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I won, I had over 100 health.
Wow.
And the guy, it was attrition. He just, yeah.
Yeah, especially since you start with
20.
20. I mean, for you to get 100 health, and it's like, you know what?
And that's with him hitting me occasionally. That wasn't just straight all I gained. That
It's
was
almost
what
like,
I ended
you
up
know
with.
what? I've gone up against 1 or 2, but like I said, I had high damage creatures, and I've dealt against health gaining decks and stuff like that, but I just kind of wore it down. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had anybody had 100 health. At that point, I would be like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm done, man. It ain't gonna happen.
It was one of those games where it gets to the point where he was probably thinking, I'm probably going to lose this, but he still had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. He totally had a chance. He could have. But just everything worked out so well that finally he GG'd and let me hit him in the face. Yeah, so the other game I've been playing this week and beat, I use that term. Well, yeah, I beat it. Pokemon Let's Go.
Wow.
I'm-
Already.
Yeah, funny. That's the same thing my girlfriend said. I was like,
Jesus.
I was like, hey,
I
I'm
mean,
the
I know
Pokemon
yellow
champion.
was short-ish,
Yeah.
but wow.
I mean, right now my save file has 21 hours logged. I want to say 20 of that was beating the game, and only about an hour not. So 20 hours isn't terrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, as someone who, and there are several reasons why I beat it so fast. The first was last week before we recorded, I was actually trying to rush through the game to get to the part where the Pokemon Go, whatever you call it, association, you can do. You can link it to your Pokemon Go on your phone. I was like, well, I want to do that so I can talk on the podcast.
Right.
Can't do it.
Huh.
Let me rephrase. You can't rush it.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, yeah, it's right down there. You have to go to Fuchsia City. Okay, well, that's later on, but surely I can get there. Nope, there's a Snorlax. There's an NPC that just says, I'm thirsty and won't let me through. Okay. So I'm like, okay. So I go do this. Okay. Do this. Okay. What else do I need to do? Can I get there? Nope. Okay. So despite trying to rush through the game to get to that point, it still took a while. But 20 hours was about the point where I hit the champion mark. The game itself, for the most part, has it's a remake of Yellow. We know that. And for the most part, it's pretty spot on. But as I played more, I started noticing more and more differences between Pokemon Let's Go and Pokemon Yellow. They have added a few things. Like, minor spoiler, I talked about before how combat's much more straightforward than modern Pokemon games. There's no Mega Evolutions, Z moves, etc. They totally threw in Mega Evolutions.
They did it anyway.
At one point, yeah. I didn't use them in the game at all. I was
wow.
like, okay, that's not Pokemon Yellow. So, they also added something. They actually added what we would call in-game content to it.
Really?
So instead of being the Pokemon champion, then you can go, catch Mewtwo, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They added, and I don't know the proper term, but they're basically trainer masters or master trainers. Not like, Ash is going to be a Pokemon master, catch everything. These are trainers that have trained one Pokemon up to it's the best it can be.
I like that idea.
And you can only fight them with that same Pokemon. So it's and no items are allowed. So it's how well did you raise your Pokemon against a mirror image, essentially.
So are there 150 something of these?
Apparently so.
What? Wow. Damn.
I ran into one. He was the Zapdos one. I'm like, okay, well, a legendary one. So sure, there's got to be one for everything. And I was looking online, and sure enough, it looks like there's one for every Pokemon.
Wow. That's news.
So is this the NPC, or is this an actual person that's trained it all the way up?
Oh, no, it's NPC.
Okay, so all of them are NPCs that apparently trained each and every single individual Pokemon all the way up.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
So I haven't fought any yet, but it's an interesting little side thing that I might try.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when you beat them all.
So, I don't know if you beat them all, but apparently when you beat them
all, Adam,
you get a.
I already have.
Jesus. But when you beat one of them, you get a title that you can then attach to your profile or whatever, and then when you go on the multiplayer aspect of it, that title will be displayed for everybody else to see.
That's cool.
So I don't know if it has anything.
I didn't
hear
hear anything about this, but granted, I haven't followed this game completely. But it's crazy.
I can almost guarantee that there's going to be some kind of cheat around it, because I remember in Halo 3, the cheat that we did. It was oh yeah, I'm a cheater. I did cheat around this to get the last 3 achievements that I needed. You could set the specifics for your in-game match to be like Australia at this time, whatever it was, in this language. And all the people that showed up in the match were all people just trying to get achievements. And I was like, dude, I need 3. I was on my mic. I was like, I need this one, and this one. And everybody, this is the only time I think the actual physical social contract engaged. Everybody in that match said, we got you. And let me achieve my goal. And I stayed in there for about another 2 hours helping other people get it. I was like, you know what? I can walk down the street and say, dude, look, my cell phone's out of battery. I need to call my wife and let her know what I do, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Man, who the fuck is this, man? Motherfucker, where the hell you going? No, social contract, asshole. Let me use your phone, please, because there aren't payphones anymore. Yeah. No, in this one little instance, people from all around the country were like, you know what? The Gamer Nation has your back. We'll let you cheat through this game and get your shit.
I got one question for you. Did they give you the achievement for beating Michael?
They didn't. There was not a Mike Dub beat. There was a black cat known as Kratos who did try to eat his money.
Good job.
Yeah. We definitely cannot tell that story on this podcast, but yes, a cat did try to eat my money and he was immediately thwarted away.
Yeah.
Having fun with Pokemon?
Yeah. Overall, yeah. It was a good nostalgia.
I stand corrected. That's not even the question I want to ask you. I'm so sorry. The question I wanted to ask was, you said you beat the game, right?
Yeah.
Is there New Game Plus type situations?
No. I think it's really just the end game stuff.
And then maybe beating the other trainer masters, whatever.
Get the legendaries, which is what was in the original, and then get the beat these others if you want. I might try one or two of them for basically the Pokemon I have high level. But I don't see myself sitting down and going through every one of them. That's a lot of work, especially when, how am I going to level them? Because I talked about this last time. You don't fight Pokemon in the game. You only fight trainers.
Yeah.
Pokemon. That seems horribly unfair.
Pokemon you only catch.
You're like, fucking suck this lightning bolt, trainer. And he's like, I'm just a dude. Please,
you fight the trainer's Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Oh, God.
Do I have to break it down that much?
Yes, you do.
Just other Pokemon trainers are all NPCs.
Yeah.
Randomly come up.
I'm guessing you haven't played Pokemon?
No.
Okay.
Not since Game Boy.
Yeah, I mean that's when I started. You know, Red and Blue. It's just like the random trainers you find on the routes and stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, and the way they have balanced it, I didn't notice this at first until I actually pulled up a map for something I couldn't find. But Pokemon Let's Go has way more trainers than Pokemon Yellow did. So to make up for not fighting Pokemon for experience, would you still get experience when you catch them? It's just not great experience, and it's some arbitrary number you're going to get. You just fight more trainers in that way. And since we have to catch more Pokemon, or Pokemon are harder to catch, I guess I should say. That's a very relative sentence to say, subjective, but when you beat trainers, not only do you get money like traditional, but they also have a chance of giving you Pokeballs. So instead of having to constantly spend all your money and try to farm money somehow, because there's a limited amount in the game, they actually give you free Pokeballs throughout as you go. And when you get to higher level areas, you get better Pokeballs, Great Balls and Ultra Balls. So the motion controls are driving me nuts.
As they usually do.
Yeah.
Motion controls fucking suck.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'd agree. I mean, honestly, a lot of the games I've seen with motion controls, we're getting better progressively, but it's still, I think, infuriating when you don't have that exact precise motion that you're used to with the controller, and you're like, why didn't you? Can you give me an option? Can you say, okay, well, you can do this, or you can just use controller?
Yeah,
I get completely.
We're retroactively talking to you, Wii and Wii U, but yeah.
Yeah, and I said this last episode that
the Switch too, sir.
Yeah, the Switch. Well,
my mind goes straight back to that Star Fox game you used to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot worse ones. The Switch only has so much, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Wii is ultimately maybe the PlayStation wand thingamabobber.
What is he talking about? Is he making shit up right now?
PlayStation Move.
Move, yeah.
Would they make like 3 games for that?
I don't even know what this thing is. I think he's lying to me right
It's
now.
like a giant glowing microphone.
Are you talking about the
like
Xbox
a
Connect? Is that what you're talking
No.
about? It wasn't a wand.
Glowing penis.
There was
giant glowing penis?
So, Chris, you were saying the motion
penis.
controls are infuriating.
So, and I said this last time, and I'm sticking to what I said. The little Pokeball Plus that comes with it, you can get with or I say comes with it if you get that version, or you can buy it as a separate accessory. I love it as an individual piece of hardware. The concept behind it is great. You literally have a Pokeball you can hold in your hand. You know, given that it's meant for child hands, so adult hands it's a little more difficult. But that's totally understandable. I'm not going to hold that against them. But the sensing of it, and this applies to regular Joy-Cons as well, so it's not specifically to it, but the sensing of it, I swing my arm forward, I throw the Pokeball, I'm not going to throw it at my TV, obviously. It goes on screen. Sometimes it's where I'm aiming. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's off to the right. When I specifically threw my arm to the left, it's like, okay, what are you detecting? Why is this? I'm like, okay, let me check. Yes, it's oriented correctly. I have, there's the back of it. Okay, here's the front. Here's the top. It's aligned.
Mm-hmm.
I've now centered myself on the switch, which I completely redid my desk setup. So, and at first I was like, okay, it's because my switch is kind of off at an angle.
Yeah.
But it is now dead center on my desk. There's literally no excuse for that. So I go, okay, straight ahead. Off to the left. All right. And then, of course, for those that played Pokemon Go, Pokemon don't just sit there. It's not press the button and then it throws it at it, which I'll get into a minute about that because I learned something today. But you have to aim and throw. Mm-hmm. And they don't sit still. They move around. So they'll be bouncing around. It's like, all right, it's on the left side now. All right, let me throw to the left. Oh, hey, it went to the right. Okay, it's on the right. Let me throw to the left. Or I'll purposely do the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's on the right, I'm going to the left. It goes down the middle now.
Oh, God.
I'm like, you have to be kidding me. This is so infuriating.
That's why I said, the Switch does have the motion control sensor problems that every other console has had. Motion control is fun, but no, they haven't worked all the bugs out.
Tacked on is the word you're looking for, definitely. Tacked on is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
What was that thing they had for the Sega Genesis?
The Sega...
It was like a circle you put on the ground.
It was an octagon. It had sensors that came up. The actuator?
Yeah, you should get one of those and play Pokemon.
Bro, I don't even remember that one.
Dude, I remember like there was a fighting game that came out. Like Eternal Champions was made for this game or something like that.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Chris had it.
It was like the Sega activator or something. It was ridiculously freaking crazy. I can't even remember what the name was. It was something like the Sega actuator or activator or I don't remember exactly what the fuck it was called, but
Activator.
Oh, you know the only time I ever actually saw that was like in a mall. Because apparently the person that owned the mall was the only one that had the money enough in order to buy that bullshit.
Yeah, the idea was it was an octagon that had lights that came up, and if you doing a motion corresponded to a direction or a button,
it could happen, quote unquote, by chance, by miracle. Harry Potter came out and farted. It picked up your motion, and your character on the screen did a high kick, and you wanted a low kick, and that's how it worked out. I guess.
I heard it was the most accurate and advanced motion controls we've ever seen. 20 years ahead of its time.
And the Virtual Boy was a phenomenon, right?
Virtual. Sure. You get a Virtual Boy and an activator. You got virtual reality right there. So,
I remember that Virtual Boy just giving everybody a migraine.
Gave everybody the middle finger, and we gave it right back.
Damn,
Chris, you were saying you learned something today?
Yeah. So speaking of controls, I mentioned this last week, but there is 0 Pro Controller support for this game.
Yeah, that's still blowing my mind.
Now, here's what makes it worse now. It was annoying last week.
Mhm.
Now it is actually kind of making me mad. Because we're in a hotel, not much to do, my girlfriend started playing Pokemon Let's Go. She has the Joy-Cons attached to the Switch itself, which I haven't played like that because I play on my TV, so it's in the docking station.
Mhm.
She goes to catch a Pokemon. First off, she tilts the Switch and it centers the Pokemon on it. So it's like, okay, so maybe I'm missing some screen turning mechanic I can do to make things easier on me as I'm throwing and catching.
Mhm.
And then she presses the A button and it throws a Pokeball at it.
Wow.
What?
Nice.
So no motion controls required.
Wow.
So what is their fucking excuse now? Why can I not use my Pro Controller?
Get wrecked.
She's so happy. You're so mad.
Yeah, so I'm... so I was like, great, now I have to go test stuff when I get home. Figure out what all is different between having the Joy-Cons attached and not, and how much easier would it have been for me going through the game if I knew this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still probably would have played it like I did because I went on my TV.
Yeah, but there's so much headache you wouldn't have had to mess with. There's so much that you wouldn't have to worry with that ease of ability. Yeah,
so here's the other thing, too. So I very quickly dismissed the two-player aspect of it last week.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mistake. If you're playing by yourself, set a Joy-Con for one player, set the other one for the other player, play with both players yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because and if you are playing with a real person as your second player, do not try to time throwing Pokeballs.
Mm-hmm.
It is a miserable experience. Just take the other controller from that person, throw them both yourself. Do not hold them in one hand. Do not try being smart and go, I'm going to move at the same time. The sensors go haywire.
Yeah.
Just put one in each hand, swing them at the same time, straight towards your Switch or whatever you want to try doing to get your angles right, and do it that way. Because hitting it with two Pokeballs at once gives you an increased chance of catching it, which is what it is. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a big deal, and I learned this by doing this, because I was like, I want my, girlfriend to play. So we played, and she quickly got up, doing something else. I was like, okay, well, now I have the second player. I got in a fight. There were two of us. We had two Pokemon out.
Oh.
Against the enemy's one.
Wow.
Nice.
So, okay, I can double team everything in this game. I'm like, okay, surely it's just in trainers. I go to a gym. I do it. I can fight gym leaders.
Wow.
With two Pokemon as two players. I'm like, okay,
this is
I'm playing
shit you would have liked to have known earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't actually too far when I figured this out. It was after the last episode, but I was only like 6 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 14 were spent dual wielding Joy-Cons, two-playering it solo.
Mm-hmm.
And that it made it so easy.
Nice.
And when you're catching them, you even get like a bonus to experience because you're synchronized with it.
I'm hoping that they don't have some kind of mechanic in there where you throw two Pokeballs and it gets split between the two. You end up with half a Pikachu
in one.
No, what happens is when you hit it, it does this little animation showing the Pokeballs combining and then the Pokemon going in it.
Let our Pokés combine.
So they've got you covered.
Yeah.
They don't want you to worry about your, Pokemon disappearing into the abyss.
Buddy right next to you. Who gets the Pokemon?
No.
I do, bitch.
No, because it's your account.
Ah. That works.
I'm getting a signal from the side that I think Rock's gonna have to bounce out for tonight. So Rock, we definitely appreciate you coming on the episode. We appreciate you guest starring. Man, you're always welcome on this podcast, I promise you.
I was not a problem. This is my first time and I enjoyed it. I'll definitely be by more often, especially once I can get back to my video game console and actually start friggin' playing again.
Once your life gets, situated and settled, you need to get a PlayStation 4 and get on these games because I'm telling you, there's
get a PlayStation, man. I've been Xbox for a while.
That's good.
Really,
you gotta get on our level. You gotta go where the games are.
I've been that way. I went from PS2 to really Xbox. I had PS3, but it gathered dust. I didn't, but getting the PS4, these exclusives, it's ridiculous. I have both.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, is it really that Is it really that? Because I mean, y'all got together and got me to one.
You could pick any of the 4 games that we mentioned earlier that Adam got just now, and that's all you need. But all 4 of them, you're in fucking heaven, man.
Don't let these guys bullshit you. Go get Steam.
Get out of here. Fuck you, Adam. Rock, thanks again for showing up, man. We appreciate it, brother.
That's no problem at all, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Yep. What else for your week, buddy?
That's it. Just those 2 games. I talked about a little bit. I rearranged my desk, so I moved up to a 6-monitor setup. It's not as excessive as it sounds because I've decided that I'm going to split off my work computer into a separate PC instead of working from my basically gaming desktop with gaming and work. So it's 2 monitors per computer. 2 for my streaming PC, 2 for my main PC, and 2 for work.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So-
I've seen your little setup, and the only thing I could think was like you were like the comm guy for like the Power Rangers or something like that. You're the guy that's like, the enemy seems to be growing in intensity.
Yeah.
Watch out, guys.
Yeah, but my desk, I'm much happier with it now. It changing the mounts I had because I had some arm mounts mixed with vertical mounts mixed with a clamp mount that was also vertical, and rearranging it just freed up some space. Also have a nifty little USB switch so I can switch my keyboard and mouse. Mainly my keyboard. I think I'm still going to keep my separate. But instead of having to go, okay, which keyboard do I need to use now? I just make sure I'm on the right input.
Yeah.
I can switch back and forth.
That thing looks totally badass, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool. Adam, since we've already pretty much hinted at your week, why don't we go ahead and spiel through yours?
Spiel through mine.
Yeah, man, because I'm all about hearing.
Like, just go ahead and... I played some games at the end.
Sure. I mean, it would be typical for you. But now you've got some actual fun non-PC games you can talk about. So, but yeah, ever since this whole PS4 debacle, man, I've been eager to hear some stuff, and I'm sure Chris would like to know as well. So, man, what has your week been like?
First, some general notes about the console. You got the loading thing. It is what it is. I mean, that just seems like it's going to be a pain in the ass, but
yeah.
If as long as I prepare for it, then I'll be all right. Like, let me put this in the night fucking before I want to play the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up, and I suggest you do as well. I feel like there's a thing that says no, don't download shit. Just play it off the fucking disc, and if anything, maybe put the updates on there.
Well,
but
as soon as I put the disc in, it was like preparing to load the fucking shit.
There may be a workaround, and maybe not. Either way, I get it.
It is what it is. Another little hang up about the console. These aren't like huge fucking deals. It's just
stuff you noticed.
Just stuff I noticed. One, it wasn't extremely intuitive how to recover my PSN account. So,
did you finally get it? Did you?
I didn't even try.
Oh wow!
Didn't even try. Last time I had it was Thanksgiving, so I was like, fuck it. The last thing is that fucking controller light is goddamn annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is. I'm looking desperately for some tape to fucking put over it. I don't know if that's like part of the motion controls or something that I'd be covering up.
No, one of the
there's like some reason there's a fucking light on it.
One of the best aspects that we've seen so far. So there's 2 of them. That one is it's useful, I guess. The other one is okay, cool. The useful thing is they will color code for most of the games almost universally. Like Diablo 3, for example. If you're player 1, you'll be blue, I'll be red, Chris will be purple, and my wife will be green. That's cool. So and it's on the controller as well. So I mean, I guess if you want to look around and go, I don't know which one of you are the blue mage, yours is the red color, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. And the other one is some games have the ability to have if there are environmental colors in the game, the thing will light up to that color. Yeah. But again, the controllers, the light's pointed away from you, so it's not like you're really going to see it. If you turn that light off, either turn it off I think you can turn it off on the console, maybe. But if you tape it up, you're not missing anything that I can think of.
Well, and the other thing about the controller is the absence of start select. What the fuck?
Yeah, that did jar me at the beginning.
It's not even okay. You changed their names. Cool. Put them in the same fucking spot, please. It's been like that for fucking ever. Stop. Don't.
Yeah.
The PlayStation controller was a symbol of elegance.
Yeah.
Okay. The damn thing was fine from PS1. They were like, oh,
but we've moved on.
Good.
We've moved on, and I will admit that yes, while it did take me a couple of seconds to get used to having a select button be something different and a start button be something different.
You don't slam that button in the middle every time?
No, not anymore.
I still do that.
Not anymore. Especially what I do slam is that fucking share button because I'm like, screenshot. I want that right now. I want that right now. And it's like, hey, you can take a screenshot and share it. How would you know that?
Because I played Persona 5.
Oh, are we rolling right into that?
Like that
Didn't want to talk about some fucking Red Dead first?
Oh, yeah.
Get that shit out of the way.
We talked to Red Dead since that was the very first fucking thing I did. Is put that disc in there and realized it was going to load it. And I was like, oh, fuck. I guess I'm playing Red Dead first.
So this is so wonderful hearing Adam talk about games because it's like he tries to be the most little shit that he can possibly be. Right. He was like, guess what the first thing I did in Red Dead 2 was? And I was like, I'd love to hear what cool thing in this wide open world you did. And he said,
Sam Marston in the or John Marston in the fucking face. Sam Marston, that's right, his brother. And he did the little mission where he's like riding around on the horseback.
You shot John Marston in the fucking face.
Watch this, blam, and it with time paradox.
And that's what you remembered. You didn't do anything else cool, nothing else, but you remember shooting John Marston in the face.
I did a couple cool things.
Like,
I mean, the whole front of the game is basically just one giant fucking railroad.
Yeah.
As most games are. So
isn't it cool, Chris? You can have him talk, and you know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So. We got back to the little camp thing, and I finally got like control of the goddamn character to go do what I want. And it's like, here's your little mission dot. Go talk to this guy or that guy. And I was like, I'm fucking off to the woods. And I climbed up a little mountain, and I figured out that if you crouch walk, you can go up steeper slopes. So I went up as high as I fucking could, and I jumped, and I almost died.
Yeah,
since that didn't fucking kill me, and there was a pond nearby, I was like, it's freezing cold. Let me go jump in the little stream thing. You can die of hypothermia.
Yep.
Good job. Good job. And that's where I ended. As his body floated down the river. Yep. I was like, it's time to play Persona.
Good choice.
So, rolling into that, fired up Persona.
Persona 5 for
Game
everybody.
Sucks. All right, moving on. No.
All right, cool.
It was like, hey, look at me. I'm edgy. I'm edgy.
I will.
I'm all flashy. Everybody thinks I'm
I will
cute.
destroy you.
Yeah, I know you're being Adam, but it certainly does have its own little art style, and
it does.
It's very even jarring at first.
Yeah,
it pops up, it's like bam, colors, music. It's like, what is this?
One of the first things he brought up to me was he's like, "What was up with the fucking ice skating bullshit?" And I was like, "You gotta understand some stuff, man." You got to let that ice skating go because you cannot deny that artwork was fucking awesome.
Like
and then
Jet Set Radio straight grinded down the like stair rail. And I was like, okay.
But then you find out that was done by a very prominent anime artist, and it's just
before I roll into the stuff I like, I will mention the one thing that I found that was annoying. I discussed this with you earlier.
Yeah.
I think you kind of agreed with it, but it was the fact that you use X for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And this only becomes a problem because you'll go to ambush somebody and whack, you're on the wall.
Yeah. That happens to me a lot too.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. And that almost got me killed once. I was like, hey, let me just ambush this dude. No. Now get sneak attack, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they fucking ended up just putting it in my butt.
Just punishing you.
Yep, and I was like, oh, look, you're stylistic.
You're like, well, this is
you're
really...
not so fucking smug now, you little shits. They're like, oh, this is easy. Yeah, look at us. We're badass. Oh, my God, we're going to die. And so, yeah, that ended up almost wiping me once, but I managed to recover. I still haven't died yet, luckily. So far, I've made it up to the point where we sent the calling card.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I'm almost at the end of the first palace. It is like 4 days before the deadline.
Yeah.
I most of this time has been railroad. Most of it's been like, oh,
and
you're home? Go to fucking sleep, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
where does that sound familiar, Chris?
And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of wanted to go do some stuff. And they were like, nah, fuck you. Go fuck off. And I was like, oh, okay.
I would get infuriated. I brought it up on the podcast. It's like, man, this is the third night in a row where it's great. I've got some really good story. But again, I've been denied everything where the game just basically says, shh, go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. There's so much of the shit I need to be doing. No. Just go to sleep. It's okay.
It's like, hey, look at all this shit. You can't do it. Goodbye.
Nope.
That is mildly annoying. Because you see, like, oh, there's a bathhouse. I wonder what happens when you go there. You won't fucking find out for 2 weeks because fuck you.
It is mildly annoying until you get further in the game and realize, hey, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
And
it's
okay. I get that, but in the beginning, coming from a fresh perspective, this isn't my fucking 4,000th hour. I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, you're looking at it and you're like, man, they gave me this big ass playground that I can't use.
Yeah.
It'll get bigger.
There is a whole lot of, where the fuck am I supposed to be going? Because it's like, hey, look, there's all this shit. And you're like, as you run around in fucking circles. You know? So, yeah, it's cool. I figured out, a little bit of the system on my own. And they've got a pretty good tutorial that's still fucking going.
It 10 will hours still into be the game. Going.
Yeah.
Every time you unlock a new thing.
Like New Game Plus, they're still fucking throwing new tutorials at you.
So basically you hate this game is what I'm hearing.
No. Actually, I'm not going to give it like a definitive rating.
Yeah,
right
no.
now,
Are you enjoying what you're playing so far?
I will say that I have thoroughly enjoyed what I've played so far.
Thoroughly enjoyed.
It was good.
I've done my part.
From Adam?
Yeah, that's good. Because he really hates sweet coding, so shit.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Let me just put this out there.
I will never let it go.
Yeah. So, sweet coding's good. Mm-hmm. Is it better than Persona 5?
Careful, Persian. These may be your last words as king.
I will say, yeah, because I beat it right now.
Okay.
But, we'll see. We'll see where Persona 5 jumps as soon as it gets done with it. Because, I mean, it may suck. He may just be like, yeah, now.
So let's talk a little bit of Persona, what you've done so far. So
okay.
you
let me tell you this fucking thing first.
Okay.
Fuck that dude you live with. Fuck him
Sojiro?
Right. Yeah, fuck that dude. He's like, let me be a complete fucking asshole to you. Oh, you got a cat? Oh, what do you name your cat? Like the fuck I let you name my cat, you piece of shit.
You're living in his house.
You got me living in the fucking warehouse. You make me clean your shit. You constantly fucking heckle me. I'm doing the best I can. You're like, nobody cares that you got completely fucked over. I know you got fucked over, and I still don't care. You fucking piece of shit. And then you fucking, I wanted to name the cat. I'll punch you in your fucking mouth. If they'd been like, interrupt, Mass Effect, just interrupt. Just bam, right in his fucking mouth. I'd have done it.
You will come to love Sojiro. It's okay.
Well,
I got it too at the beginning of the game. He's playing a hard ass. He's playing the anti-protagonist.
I'm not the one. I'm not the one. So, yeah. That kind of stuff, and I say this in jest because
I know.
Game, I understand what the game's doing. It's fun, but so far I really like the way, as you mentioned, the battles are very stylistic. Everything's very stylized. Everything's very kinetic. Mm-hmm. I do like that. I leave most of the party for the most part on auto up until I start to get low on SP.
Yeah,
and I know I could be more efficient if I manually told them to not fucking waste their shit. Mm-hmm. But at this point we're just kind of breezing through enemies while we have the mana. So
see, if I'm not mistaken, and I thought this was the default as well, I thought you could set your party any way you want to, and you can have them set to just physical only.
Yeah,
because when I go into auto, which is about 90% of the time in that game, all they do is attack. All they do is straight attack, no SP at all.
Well, see, I don't want to do that.
Well, then
I want to see them just do stuff. So
that's true. Hey, yeah. Enjoy it.
Sometimes they do the right thing. So it's like, actually, more often than not, they do the right thing. If they know there's a weakness, they'll tag out. They'll do exactly what the fuck they need to do. Mm-hmm. So the AI is pretty smart about that, which is another plus for the game. Mm-hmm. Little things like the way the menu pops up is pretty fucking cool. The money situation, I think. I was asking you before about the part-time jobs because that's something I'm looking into right now. is right now it's like down to the pennies because
Yeah.
somebody at some point mentioned something about there being an achievement for getting all the soft drinks, and guess what I spent all my money on?
So the thing about money, this is just more brilliance on their part. They're really trying to get you in the mind frame of being, I am not from this town. I don't have a job. How the fuck am I going to get money? I guess maybe I'll have an allowance. Maybe not. So your in-game struggle to find money is pretty canon. As far as how you're going to get it, there's so many ways. Jobs are one of them, yeah, but in the palaces, you can grind for money. You can have personas give you money. You can sell the items. Also, as you're going through the dungeon, you're going to find a bunch of various treasures. When you go to the item shop or the weapon shop to go sell stuff, there's going to be a strict category that says, hey, here is all the shit that you found in the dungeon that you can't use.
Which I still haven't fucking sold yet. So
right.
I probably got...
And when you do, it says, hey, it categorizes it all for you. And you don't have to go, okay, well, I think I need this. But maybe then it goes, no, here's all your shit. You want to sell it? Here's the price for it, all of it. Bam, buy. Here's your money.
Yep.
So
after I get out of the dungeon tomorrow, it's going to be my next thing is go to the weapon shop and dump all that crap. Now I'll have an entire palace worth of stuff, and I'll be in the black. Probably immediately spend it all on weapons.
You'll have new weapons that you'll have new weapons that you've equipped, so you can sell your old equipment. Don't worry. That's
I'm not concerned. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. This is my situation right now. So it's improving. I do like I knew going into this that there was going to be, the fucking Pokemon syndrome. As soon as I run into some shit, it's like, yep, I don't have that. Fucking, you're coming with me. I don't give a shit what I got to do to get you.
Yep.
I'm starting to learn the proper responses to the personas depending on their, their temperament or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So as far as my start, I think I'm doing a pretty good job for not using a guide or anything like that.
You just got this game a couple days ago, and you're already telling us you're sending a calling card. I'd say you're doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So I'm about to, as I said, I enjoyed it. I've kind of got the systems that have been revealed so far down. I do wish that the stealth system was a little different. It didn't depend on you press the fucking X, but beggars can't be choosy, and everything else is good, so I'll deal with that. And unlike Resident Evil, I don't mind putting eyes in a statue on this game because it makes sense.
It makes sense in the game.
It makes
too.
sense because it's wacky.
You just don't like. Look, we are not about to fucking compare Resident Evil 2 to Persona 5.
Which is your better game right now?
Persona 5?
Oh yeah, get fucked, Resident Evil.
Sorry, Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, see?
You are not Persona 5. Yeah, go ahead and look for it. It ain't up there. Yeah. Dark Souls took its spot.
Oh crap! What?
And maybe another game will be on that wall one day. Maybe Persona 5.
Knock Suikoden off. Watch.
No. Well, that's good, man. And I'm glad you have a bunch of games for the PS4. I'm glad you got a PS4. I'm also glad that you got a bunch of games.
I mean, when you pull the friend card out,
I did. I straight pulled the card.
It's like, dude, okay, it must be fucking serious
on the table. Yes,
and it wasn't serious enough for you to follow through.
Yeah,
because the next morning I opened up the case and it's like, hey, I wonder what the CD looks like. It looks like fucking it's invisible.
But you got Persona 5, didn't you?
PS4 discs were invisible.
But you got Persona 5, didn't you?
I did.
Yep. Well, that's good. It's so good for the podcast as a whole. It's good for me and Chris. It's good because we can, the further you go, we can have because we've already had these, and it's always been back and forth of, well, yeah, a little minor debates here and there, but mostly, man, this shit is on point. So enjoy it. Have a good time with it.
I already told you that guy, what was his name, Kurashima or the coach?
Kamoshida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That dude, he had his little fucking outburst in the locker room, or not the locker room, the
in
coach's
his office
room.
Or whatever. Yeah,
and he turned his back to the computer. There'd have been a fucking steel chair right to the back of the head right at that moment. And it's like, you don't turn your back. You don't say some shit like that and just turn your back on.
You can't go around just killing
motherfuckers sitting in a room.
You can't go around killing people, Adam.
I'm just saying.
They're gonna handle it. The Persona way.
Look, they should have pulled out their personas and just murdered them, right?
That's not.
That's basically what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
According to this, there's a chance he dies. So
Maybe.
they're like, yep, here's murder. Of course, the what's her name, the investigator chick's already told me that he doesn't die. He confesses, like a little bitch. So spoilers for anybody that plays the game. The game spoils itself.
Something I was telling Adam, and Chris again. I'm sorry, you haven't played Persona 3 or 4, right?
Nope.
Right. But he has played and beat Persona 5. How the very beginning of that game, like the first time you're in Velvet Room, you don't realize there's shit going down already. Like, you don't know what it is because you, Adam, are baby fresh to the whole Persona series, just like I was. Well, I beat the game, was like, oh, man, I wish I would have fucking paid attention or whatever. Then I went back and played Persona 4 and 3 and went, I could have picked up on so much of this shit from the jump if I had known. And I just imagine Persona 3 and 4 players going, something's not right here. A lot is not right with all this. So it's this whole game is a big detective story, and every palace is its own detective story almost.
See, I've got a little bit of experience with Persona 3 because I'm just through osmosis picked up on a good bit of the story from fucking just the being around it while my friends played it. But my favorite part of Persona 3 was them shooting themselves in the head to actually.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that's really jarring when you see it for the first time. Like, Persona, blam! It's like, well, if you have to kill yourself to summon your Persona, I'm pretty sure it's not worth doing.
Yep.
So, yeah. As far as the game goes, I'd say it's 10 out of 10 at the moment, but then again, I'm only 10 hours in.
Yep, you still got a ways to go.
So we shall see, but I don't expect bad things. I think pretty much it's hitting on all cylinders right now.
I'm just happy you're playing.
From the graphics to the music to the systems, it's all working in concert to make a very cohesive experience that I'm enjoying a lot.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Anything else that you done this week? Anything else?
It was Thanksgiving, we didn't have a whole lot of time for extra.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit of War Thunder in, and I did get a little bit of Hearthstone in. But for the most part, it's been Persona. Most of my extracurricular gaming time when I've had it has been Persona, and I only get about 4 hours a night to play if I crack the entire night
to
out.
Quote Adam, when we were going to be dismissed earlier today from work, he was like, well, I guess I'll go home and play Persona. I was like, boy, where does this sound familiar?
And guess what happened? It was like, kids were like, I'm watching cartoons. And I was like,
oh.
So, no Persona for me.
Speaking of which, did you get that power cord? Did you get that power cord?
Hell no.
It was on the couch when
he took it.
Somebody ate it. My wife probably fucking threw it away.
Yep.
She's gonna beat me with it later.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
whatever happens in your personal life, none of my business, buddy.
I can't. Actually, I can wait because I've been waiting. But now it's time for me to get into my week, and it's very important we do this because I've only been playing.
Because here was the deal. Because it was like, okay, he threw down the friend card. And I said, all right, well, you're going to throw down the friend card. I'm returning fire.
I got to say something, too. That's what it was.
Yep. I was like, if you're going to make me buy a PS4, if you do this, I'll buy it. But if I buy it, you've got to play
Xenogears. Jeez. And that's what I feel pretty bad right now because I'm trying to remember the last game that I played. There was a game I was playing before Xenogears, but before that as well. I beat it.
Persona?
Persona 5. Yeah, my second playthrough. I finally platinumed that. got everything in it. And yeah, you're right, Chris. It wasn't. Thank you. First platinum game I've ever had. I've ever done anything like that. So that was cool. I was worried, like I mentioned in the last episode, about how the last couple of trophies were going to pan out, and yeah, it wasn't nothing at all. The fishing, it was. I started the fishing like 2 days before the thing told me you need to catch it by this point, which you really don't. You can catch it fucking anytime. And I didn't spend an excessive amount of time. I used the abilities that I had to check the fish that I needed to check. I got the fish. I got the points. I got it up. Bought the rod. Bought the bait. Caught the fish. So that was it. The compendium is just using the guide because I'm not fucking guest checking personas for 17 days. Fuck you. So I stayed in there one day and got all the personas, no problem, except for 2 because they were the jewel type that I had to go back in Mementos and fish them out. But I got really lucky because the first one I found was the one I need, and the second one I found was the next one I need. So all that was done. All the trophies pretty much, there were no hassle, no muss, no fuss. As soon as I got done with that, the same exact night, I was trying to debate on what I wanted to play. I didn't even start 17 games. I started 1. For whatever random reason, I got in the mood to play Tomb Raider, the original, the 2016 or 15, whatever one.
Right.
Because I know I still have the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I believe, is the second one.
Rise
of the Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Shadow
I got
is the
that
last one.
Yeah, right. And so I made it probably about 5-6 hours into that, and the next day happened, and the Persona 5 and Xenogears stuff happened. So true to my word, because when I say I'm going to do it, I came home and started playing Xenogears. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm probably as well about maybe 5-6 hours into it. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to it because a lot of personal stuff in life. I had a fucking toilet break. Thanksgiving holiday took over a lot of that. We're planning a trip coming up, so it's just a lot of stuff has not had me completely vested as all my hours like normally. But I have put a few hours into Xenogears, and I'm just going to talk about a few notes that I've taken here. So that top part of my notes doesn't count because that's me actually physically taking notes on this game. I'm trying my best to pay strict attention to what's going on plot-wise in this game because I know well ahead of time there's a lot going on. There's a lot of intricacy. There's just a lot in this game. So I've really been trying my best to take my time when the dialogue comes up, when the text comes up, and try to read and go, okay, I need to remember that. That's way out of left field, so I need to remember that. And I feel like I'm doing okay so far. Mm-hmm. I have found a couple summaries, like plot summaries on YouTube in case I need to be refreshed on something, but I feel pretty confident that they're giving it to me straight so far. Mm-hmm. But I did notice some things that I wanted to bring up about the game. These are not deal breakers. They're just things that I've noticed as well, kind of like your PlayStation 4 notes. Right off the bat, no quick text button function at all. Mm-hmm. I had a hard time trying to think of other RPGs in my time that haven't had a way to, the text is going across the screen, press another button, all the text is loaded and move on.
Right.
This game, you got to take it fucking as it is. There is no quick text. There's no way to make the text go faster. I don't even know if there's a way to make the text speed go faster. I can't find options. I don't think, well, maybe I have. I don't think I've found options in this game.
There should be some options. I don't know if that's one of them.
Yeah, I'll take another look. But yeah, in any event, I can read much faster than what they're giving me the text. I get it. They made it that speed because they got to take the mass audience. But most RPGs have a way to go click, 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 and this doesn't have it. Yeah, prostitution. Yeah. Way early in this game, as in the very first fucking town in this game. I don't know how old Faye is. He's like 7. And this woman's like, hey, boy, come fuck me for some money. And I was like, wow, they're fucking putting this out there. Okay,
you know why I like this game.
I'm really exaggerating.
Makes sense.
Faye's got to be in his fucking late teens or early 20s, but a woman's like, hey, you want to come back to the room? And the bartender's like, don't say that shit to him. She's like, I know, but, if you do, or just... It's like, they play the joke up, but I was like, wow, if I was playing this game at this age and not having seen this, it's just prostitution right at the beginning of the game. Cool. Not cool, but wow. So I talked to an NPC and listened to the story, and the reward that they gave me for listening to the story was cow feed of some type. And I thought that I read it wrong, but they were like, yeah, this is the preferred whatever of the cow. Isn't that right, cow? And the cow went, ah, or whatever cow 32-bit sound effect they put in there. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, I get cow food for a reward. Yeah, the chicken was the worst. I went to a chicken and clicked it, and you're expecting Legend of Zelda or whatever. This thing went, ah! I was like, what the fuck was that? And I did it again to make sure, and it sounded even worse, even though it was the same effect.
There's a plot reason behind the chicken
guess so. I guess so. That sounded horrible. It was like, please kill me.
Because, Deus had heard that.
You're so full of shit right now. So Adam, who has told me multiple things about Xenogears, was all up my ass when he found out that I played this game. He's like, did you talk to Luca? And I was like, no, I actually forgot that you could talk to Luca. She does make a guest experience. For those of you that don't know, I don't know how you don't know, but Luca is a one of the main characters in Chrono Trigger. So yeah, she makes a guest appearance in here, and I talked to her, and there was a cool little moment where she's giving you a tutorial, and she goofs up. And she does a tutorial, Adam, you forgot to tell me this shit, you asshole. She takes 28 fucking gold from me.
That's worth it.
And I was like, pause.
You got to talk to Luca.
Pause. When did Luca ever take money from anybody in Chrono Trigger? When did she ever give off that air?
Did you never notice that fucking Luca was a complete bitch? She was
not
like, you will do what I say.
I guess I just never took her for like, hey, here's
like,
take,
you owe me.
Take your
you
money.
owe me money.
Fei Fong Wong. The first time I heard his dialogue, I said, "That's fucking Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles." And I'll be damned, he sure is, voiced by the same guy. Cool stuff. Ellie has a lot of similarities to Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. She is she's very strong-willed. She has red hair. She pilots a mech. I drew the connection.
There you go.
This Chris pissed me the fuck off because I spent way more time on this than I had to, and I don't know why they did it this way. So, Chris, I go into a town, first town I get to, where I can go to a shop and buy gear. Of course you're going to buy gear when you go to a shop, and it's a fucking RPG, Adam, you fucking asshole. You're going to go. So I went in, and I bought gear. Now, I love what they had, which is what some RPGs miss, and it really pisses me off. It had a way to go, oh, were you buying this gear? Here's what it changes. It goes up or down. It gives you more or less. I was like, fuck yeah. So, of course, I saw blue this, blue that, and I was like, give me the blue. Give me the blue. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the audience can't see the Adam face right now. So, Chris, if I was to ask you, which of these two colors go up? Red or blue? What would you think?
I mean,
come on.
I mean, I'd read the
come
numbers.
on.
Probably blue if I just had colors.
Because you would think red as bad as a negative. It
depends. I mean,
I'm gonna bring a fourth party in here. I'm gonna bring a
right.
fourth party in here.
I'm gonna look mostly at the shapes. Is it up arrow, down arrow?
Nope, no arrows. It was just the shapes. It goes plus. So, and that could, I think, well, does it go plus? I don't think it has a plus or a minus. I don't remember. Either way, I'm just excited to get to a town. I'm excited to finally spend some of this gold and go buy gear in the first town. It's always a fun thing to do. I get all this gear. I go back out, go to the equip menu, and it starts equipping, and it's like everything you bought is garbage. Whoa, there's no way. And they're like, no, this goes down everything you just said. I said, okay. So I went back into the same shop, and they said, yeah, the red numbers. If it's red, it goes up. So fuck you, Adam, for not telling me this. Because
How was I supposed to know you wouldn't be able to read numbers?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that red, the
this
bad
is a
color.
sophisticated game for
Sure. Oh, is that what it is?
You have to be
Too
able to
deep
do
for me.
math to do Xenogears.
Too deep for me. I get it. All right. So there was a scene at the beginning where Faye was running after Citan. By the way, spoilers for Xenogears, just in case, because there's a lot that you could spoil, but there's a lot you're probably going to not understand anyway, but this may be a spoiler one. So there's a scene where Faye was running after Citan in the desert, and he saw these sand bikers go by on motorcycles, and he was like, well, I better go after them. But how am I going to do that? Oh, he didn't say this, but you could tell the way the game inferred he was going to steal a motorbike. It showed like a biker coming at him, and Faye just stopped, and I was like, he's going to drop kick him. He's going to drop kick him. And he just like went, the biker guy just fell over. I was like, what? Well, I was hoping for a drop kick, but
if you're riding around on your motorcycle and some dude jumps out and goes, "Whoa!" You're not gonna fucking.
I am.
You're not gonna lay that bitch down.
But it's Fei Fong Wong. I was really
jumps out at me in a car. I'm laying that.
You're
bitch
gonna
down.
suck his dick, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I was really hoping.
No hesitation.
I was really hoping he was gonna drop kick. So let me get this straight. I want to say this to you, Adam, and see if you remember this and see if it makes sense. Okay. So Citan got into the sand buggy. So let me set the stage for you. You were in the first town, and you wanted to find parts for the gears. Okay? When you couldn't find the parts in the towns, Citan, or the townspeople, however, was like, hey, if you go into the desert, a lot of I think Citan actually said this, a lot of gears get broken down in the desert, so if I go out there and scour the desert, I can maybe get some parts from broken down gears. Okay, so you go to the place where you can get a sand buggy. There's a sand buggy there. You go inside to talk. The guy's like, here you go, rent the sand buggy. When you leave, the fucking buggy's gone. Citan already left your ass. Yep. So you're telling me Citan got into the buggy, he scoured the desert, he found some down Kislev gears, he found ones that actually had parts that he needed for the well tall, grabbed the part, rode the sand buggy all the way through the desert, back through the forest, into the forest, got into the well tall, and piloted it back to where Faye's location was, all before dark, all like that. I'm thinking maybe there's some story reason how this shit happened, but that took me out for a good minute. I was like, this makes no sense. I just left him in the town, so how the fuck did you make it here, and back to here in like the real lifetime of maybe 2 hours? Okay. Game time equivalent of a couple minutes.
You want me to explain that?
No, I don't want you to. Okay. I'm just saying that
they give you
when shit like that happens, that makes me go, this game is below sweet code and garbage.
Damn. Damn. Well, I will tell you this. They tell you exactly what you need to know to have the tendrils to figure that out.
Okay.
But they're not anytime soon, and they're going to be, you're not even probably going to notice.
That's fine.
You
just notice that I pick up on shit like that. Like even in a game, it's a video game mind. I was like, that was fast.
Ask himself this question.
I hope so.
But yeah, it would have revealed some plot points way earlier.
Yeah. It's like me right now telling you, hey, I'm going to meet you over there at your house, and you only live like 10 miles from here. Oh, before I get to your house, I've got to go to fucking Canada first. And then I go to Canada, come back here, and I'll do, what have you been doing? I've been waiting on you all day. Like that, it really blew me off. So those are some nitpicks, some noticing things, some bad. There's nothing bad about this game at all. I do like the sprite work in this game. I do like the battle system. I love having the combo things. I love going back and for frame of reference for the audience as well. I played through Xenogears at least once. I'm pretty sure at least only one time, but that was close to 2 decades ago, and I have forgotten all of it. And even though Adam has told me the story of this game probably 5 times by now. I've still forgotten so much because there's just so much to take in. So I'm essentially playing this game for the first time again, and taking a lot of the sights in the sound. There are a few times here and there, like when they were in the desert and they fell down the hole. I was like, I remember getting out of here, but it's not like I remember this, I remember that. This is almost like a fresh game for me. So from the battle system, I'm very impressed with. I'm slowly going back through and having to remember death blows. I like the death blow system. Period. I think it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Of course, the sprite graphics are right up my alley. The music's great. As far as I am playing this game with a very attentive nature, like way more attentive than I normally do. And it's because I know what's coming. I know, especially in the second disc, it's going to be dump. Here you go. Shit for you. And it's me going to keep everything together. But again, if I do get lost, I've got shit I can watch. I can take it in. As far as the game itself, I am enjoying it. It's I'm like, all right, I'll see what this had.
You kind of make me want to explain that last little question you had.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of, I'm like, I know the definitive answers to everything you have there. Yeah. But whether or not you'll pick that up when they drop it is, because I mean, I don't even remember at what point in the game they say the 2 things that needs to be said.
Yeah.
But
we'll see. I mean, this is a test for me as well. I mean, I've been pretty good about the typical standard RPG fare of like going into a town and talking to every NPC. Do I have to talk to everybody twice? No, never mind. I answered that myself because the first like 3 NPCs that I came to, I tried that. It was like same dialogue repeat. So yeah, thank God they don't do shit like that. But that shit. No, but I do talk to every NPC. I try to pick up little nuances here and there and try to get facts rearranged in my head. And I forget what you said. You didn't want me to play this game as something. But I'm the only thing I'm playing it. The only thing different that I'm doing to any other RPG that I played is I'm really trying to pay attention to make sure that I keep facts down. Mm-hmm. If I'm at a point where they give me 16 paragraphs of the plot and I'm like, I understood about 90%, I go try to look something up or try to get it straight.
Yeah, that's because one of the things. If you ever end up in situations like you did, where it's like this just doesn't fucking objectively make sense. Mm-hmm. I can probably tell you what the roundabout answer is. Yeah.
And it'll also be another test for me as well, because maybe I'm just blown out of proportion. Maybe I'll get to the end of this game and go, it was a lot, but it wasn't that bad. We'll see. I know. I see that face you're giving me. But that will be what I will be continuing to play. Now, just a forewarning for you and the audience as well. My wife and I are going to be on vacation here this next week, and then I'm going to be on basically away from home a while longer after that. So there's probably going to be 1 or 2 episodes that either I'm just not going to be here or we're not going to have a podcast at all. So I'm going to have that's he's making a fist over there, Chris. The idea is maybe they'll just record and just send me the audio and I'll take care of it myself. But the main thing I'm getting to you is that as there's going to be a couple weeks I'm not going to play it as. I hope I don't lose it in those 2 weeks. If I do, I'll just start the game over or I'll watch the fucking video. But this will be what I will be working on until I beat it. I don't have any other games that I'm really. There's a lot of Steam games. We just had another Steam sale, gentlemen. I don't know if I think it's still going on. I think it was to the 27th
today.
Yeah. So I bought a few more games in that thing too. One of which was Dragon Quest 11, the newest Dragon Quest, and I've heard a lot of great things about it. So I've been wanting to try that one out too.
That's on sale on Steam right now?
It was marked down. I think it was like 30% off or something like that. So
got some homework to do when I get home.
Yeah,
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. That's one that I've been itching to work on. But again, that's one game. There's like 40 other games on my Steam list that I want to play on top of the 80 other games that I need to play. Mm-hmm. So, but right now, it's all Xenogears. I'm working through it. Don't really have anything else non-gaming related. No anime, none of that stuff. So, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I think we got through everybody's week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sure did. Yep. It's time to roll into one of my favorite topics in the world. why Michael's opinion is better than Adam's.
That's a delusion, not an opinion.
So this is an episode. The topic for today's episode is our individual top 5 RPGs. Now I'm going to tell you, the audience right now that already know us. Most of these games are pretty much redundant. I mean, I can pretty much pinpoint 2 games that are going to be on there. We're not doing our usual rules here. For one, we're only dealing with 5 games. So if Chris's 5 is my number 1, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to hold it to the chest. We're just going to talk about these 5 games individual, or whatever many number of games. And for the well acquainted End of Time cast audience, you're probably going, wait a minute. You guys already did this. Your very first episode. Our first episode was top 5 RPGs, but that was also a very weird ruled way that Adam did it that nobody liked. Nobody at all liked this freaking pick one game from a category of.
I think it's got more views than this episode.
So we're addressing it for a couple of reasons. One, because we have Chris here. The first time we did it was just me and Adam with this retarded category thing we did. Now we're doing it with just a standard way, just top 5 RPGs, and Chris gets his opinion. We're also doing it this way because sometime in the future, and I hope you guys do a little bit more homework, we're going to do an End of Time cast. That's all 3 of us coming together with our singular opinion of the top probably 10 RPGs of all time. That's more of debate. This is less debate and more of us telling our personal opinions, just giving some backstory or some memories about certain games. So I did go ahead and make a top 10 list, and I got to tell you, there were a couple items on this top 10 list that were pretty fucking hard. Just to give a little spoiler alert, my mental debate between I have Witcher 3 and Mass Effect on here, and I think Adam was watching me at work. I was mentally exhausted trying to make this debate because they're both great games. They're both great RPGs, but they're so different in their own respects. And it's like you're putting one fucking grade A material against another grade A material and saying you got to pick the better one. It's like, God, they're so good.
Skyrim was the easy choice after that.
Yeah, Skyrim went to number 1 right off the bat. I mean, I'm sure there's no arguing that at all here, correct?
Right.
So, no rhyme or reason to this, guys. Let's just plow through these top 5 and get this teeth pulled. I'll start with my first one. My number 5 RPG of all time is Witcher 3. That's the one that I picked.
Nice.
A couple reasons why I picked this one, and it's so crazy how I had to magic work this in my head because I've only played through The Witcher one time, and technically I haven't really beaten The Witcher 3 all the way because there's one giant piece of DLC I have not even touched yet. Whereas Mass Effect, I've done everything in Mass Effect. I think I've actually went through Mass Effect twice. The difference is, I remember Adam making an argument about this for a game back in the day. I forget which one it was, but the mile wide, foot deep, that back and forth. And again, this is our personal list, so I know what I'm going to say is all subjective, yada, 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 but it felt like almost every little town, whether I went to a big city in Witcher 3 or a small town, I could find 1 to 5 different stories of just stuff that made me go, this is fucking interesting. This is awesome. And how one story would lead off into another one and lead off into another one, and you weren't anywhere near the same place as you started off on. Like, well, how am I here? How am I fighting like wraiths in this graveyard? I started by telling that guy I was gonna freaking kill these wolves that were killing his sheep. How did I get here? The writing in The Witcher 3, it just, for whatever personal reason, it just has a slight edge on the writing in Mass Effect, even though the Mass Effect writing is also good. This was a very, very hard freaking mental fight for me. Graphics, yeah, I would say that Witcher 3 kind of outdoes Mass Effect 1 in the graphics department. Mainly because of the
age.
The age is kind of, I hate saying that because I feel like a douchebag, but I mean, it is true. Yeah. When you stand on a planet that has foliage or whatever in Mass Effect, you don't get anything like what you get when you just stand in a field in Witcher 3. Yep. You see grass moving, trees swaying, you see freaking falcons flying by, and I don't know. The graphics department was kind of a no-brainer for me. There's intrigue in both of these games. There's so much to take away, but I don't want to focus on just the fact that I picked Witcher 3 over Mass Effect. That's a whole nother list. We're talking about the number 5, The Witcher 3. I've had a lot of fun in The Witcher 3. I wanted to actually pull up my game and see how many hours I put into it. We may have even talked about it on one of our old podcast shows, Adam, but I know I put well over 100 hours into that game. Because I did a lot of shit in that game.
I'm sitting on 80.
Yeah.
And
you're
way lower than you.
Yeah. And I didn't so much steamroll through that game. I just kept going because I kept wanting to do more. Mm-hmm. And I just kept getting involved in more and more shit. And they had a really good way of keeping the map as a checklist and stuff like that. So I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Mass Effect. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with The Witcher 3. I love all the stories. I love the camaraderie that you have with the other Witchers. I love all the, just like, hey, I know you, you're a Witcher, or hey, fuck you, you're a Witcher. Just so much stuff involved in this game. The combat system, having the magic involved as well.
I remember specifically that one quest where you have to go through all the dandelions, like girlfriends.
Yes.
Chase them all over town.
Yes.
And like, where is he at? I don't know. I haven't seen him in a day or two.
Like walking into a town and being like, sure, will somebody pay me? Cool. You have money. What problem do you have? We have this problem. You're like, all right, I'm a Witcher. You paying me? I'll do your job. And then you come back about an hour later and go, what the fuck is going on in this village? Oh, well, no. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't bullshit me. There is some shit going on, and I'm not gonna be fucking blah blah blah. And you come back and go, y'all are still lying to me. I will get to now. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this myself, and that's like one, and that happens like every other time. It's just, it's not always. What do you need? Go kill the wolf. I'm gonna go kill the wolf. Hey, kill the wolf. Here's your money. Bye. That happened rare. The more times was intricate stories and shit happening.
Go kill the thing. Oh, well, the thing's only here because y'all are fucking around.
Yeah. Go kill the thing. 4 steps out of the gate, you get mugged. It's like, well, you get tied up and brought to a whole other city. It's like, oh, so we meet again. It's like, how the fuck am I in this city? I love it. I love it. So Witcher 3 made my number 5. It was a hard decision, but had to be made. I made it. Witcher 3 is my number 5. Adam, number 5 RPG of all time.
Little game called Final Fantasy VII.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I told you guys in Discord it's not fair to not tell the audience there are no rules for this list. So if there are 5 Final Fantasies, then that's cool. So you picked Final Fantasy VII for number 5. Awesome.
Excellent. It's getting a remake soon. I don't know if you've heard that.
Soon, TM.
Yeah.
Soon. Oh, man. What can I say? This is one of the breakout stars. It kind of like revitalized the genre, to be totally honest with you. PlayStation era came out. I remember these big 2-page ads. This was back when the Nintendo 64 was. There was a big.
I heard you trying to put that Ultra out there. Yeah. You're not wrong. That's the Nintendo Ultra 64. Yeah.
But the big debate going down in the video game world, if you read video game magazines and stuff like that, because the fucking internet didn't exist. Well, it kind of existed, but not really.
Yeah.
The big debate was CDs versus cartridges. Everybody was like, "Oh man, are we gonna switch to cartridges? Cartridges load instantly. We're gonna have to sit there and wait on the CDs. Well, CDs can hold in more information. You get video and all that kind of stuff." And I remember specifically this one ad. It was a 2-page ad that you'd see in EGM or GamePro or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a picture of Junin with the big ass cannon, and it said, "Will you please get all the guys that still play cartridges a cigarette and a blindfold?" And I was like, oh man, this game looks like it's gonna be the shit. And Unfortunately for me, I had the most major plot point of the game spoiled before I even got to play it.
Ditto.
But it was still fucking stellar. They were still, I have my hang-ups about certain parts of it. And you know me, I get hang-ups about all kinds of shit. But this game is still from the graphics at the time, it hasn't aged perfectly.
No.
Parts of it.
The music is still emotional. Even to this day, you immediately get a feeling when you hear Final Fantasy VII music.
Mm-hmm,
Like, this brings me back to there. This brings me back to there. The music was well done. The graphics were well done. The gameplay, oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Battle system, material
from the crazy
system,
camera
limit
angles
breaks.
in the open world, to the the materia system.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The mini games in the gold saucer.
Yeah.
Man.
There are all kinds of little mini games that you could play.
Have tower defense here and a freaking go get in a submarine and go do some submarine shit over there. Put a lot in this game.
They did. Yeah. They put a whole lot of effort.
Now, granted, not everything was fleshed out 40 hours each, but still, they put a lot in.
The chocobo racing and all that.
Yeah, it all worked.
I mean, it was amazingly fun. And this, really, this game could be debated for higher.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my personal preference.
Yeah.
And it was between this and Lunar. Sorry, Lunar.
Oh,
sorry, Lunar.
See, if you put 7 higher, then you could have Lunar on there.
Yeah,
I could have.
I can look. We're not doing the end of time cast top 10 RPGs like debates and shit already.
Oh,
Come on, y'all.
We've already gotten 6s in all
God,
categories.
I can hear this now. Well, look, if you give me Suikoden 2, I'll give you Lunar. No, no.
This is the part where the bargaining comes in.
Oh my God.
So, in any case, poor Lunar got dropped to number 6.
That's okay. I got you.
That's cool. I'm going to talk about some Lunar too. But yeah, it was an amazing game. It was every front. This thing was the complete and total package. I don't think anybody could deny that. It's it's got an interesting story. It's got an interesting gameplay. And it's one of those games where you can go back and beat it and then look for things when you go through the second time that maybe you didn't notice, and that's always fucking fun.
Yeah, like looking for ways to bring errors back that don't work.
Yeah, don't exist. Well, like I said, quick time event.
Yep. No. I did not say yeah to that.
You did. You confirmed
Adam
it.
went behind me and put in me going, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Now you got a quick time event that saves Eris next time.
Now he's going back and editing me saying that over myself. No.
So.
Yeah, thinking about it, the only thing I've really ever heard people say negative about 7 when they're like, oh, it's not as good of a game. It's not actually that good. It's like, well, what's so bad about it? Like, Cloud. What? It's like, he's just an emo guy or something.
No, the fuck
You must be thinking of Squall.
No. This is also said about Cloud, yeah.
Wow.
It's just, he's weird.
Let me tell you. It
doesn't make sense.
And I told Michael this, and I'll tell you this, because it needs to be said. I was playing Final Fantasy VII when I first got it. I knew this game was going to be fucking cool, and I was like, yeah, this game sounds... You jump off the train, you do a little flip, and you go around fucking shit up, and he's like, I'm a soldier, I'm just here for the money, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
I remember now.
You get back to fucking Sector 7, all right? You see the report on the news, and Barrett says some cross shit to Cloud, and Cloud gets right the fuck up in his face.
Bows up.
Like, what? Do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment I knew that this dude was a total fucking badass, and that I wanted to see what happened to him. And it was like, yep, nope, sold.
This is why I'm just retelling what you told me as well. This is why you don't equate Cloud and Squall
ever,
because train scene happens. Biggs and Wedge get off the train. Squall gets off. Barrett says, "Hey, we need to go up there and take down that plate, whatever." And Squall goes,
"Whatever."
Mm. And then nothing ever happens, and the game's over.
He cries.
Congratulations,
He
you played.
cries and he cuts
You've
himself
played
with the
what an
gun blade.
emo fun. No, Cloud is very odd and he's different, and he has some emo shit. But he, again, when you go through that game and see how masterfully they wrote his story, very good, very good. So cool. Final Fantasy VII, you're number 5, Chris.
All right. So first, I hate you for popping this on us last week. This is not a list that should be done in a week. For those at home, I'm shaking my notebook at Michael right now.
That's the most furiously I've ever seen a notebook shaken.
This is a very, very difficult thing. There are so many games I've played that I remember nothing about. I'm sure they were amazing. Mm-hmm. I have Xenogears written off to the side as a very high honorable mention. It's just been so long. Yeah. And I know it was a good game.
You should go back through it too, and then y'all can compare notes, and I can sit here and go,
We'll see. But it's like I needed more time. I wanted to play things over. I wanted to do some research. I wanted to really get into it.
Since RPGs are our wheelhouse, I kind of figured this would be a little not easy. I'm not saying it was easy.
I'm just saying that 3 out of the 5 were already fucking solidified.
I'm pretty sure 3 of them are already set in stone. But
see, and one of the reasons that this is more difficult for me is because I know there are great RPGs I haven't played, I haven't played through all the way. So I can't put them on my list if I haven't even put more than a few hours in. Right. I just can't. So even though, hey, Chrono Trigger, awesome, it's not on my list because I haven't played all the way through it.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's understandable.
But so my number 5 is a little, it's part of a franchise, sort of well known. Pokemon Blue and Red.
Wow. Didn't we ask this question before? Yep. Is Pokemon an RPG?
I think by the metric we determined, it might fall in there because there are party mechanics.
Leveling, skills, party. Yeah. Story.
We had this, just a little sidebar for some behind the curtain. Me and Mike had this in-depth discussion on what constitutes an RPG because we were like, we got skill progression and we've got blah 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 blah. We've got skill progression, we've got team tactics, we've got
leveling,
we've got not necessarily leveling, but we've got different moves that come unlocked when you gain certain skills. And we were talking about fucking Madden, and we were like, you can't call Madden an RPG, so.
No.
At what point do we differentiate a game that has RPG mechanics integrated, like Dark Souls, which is a 3D action platform, heavily action oriented platform, with RPG mechanics? So, at what point does it become a full scale RPG? And I guess the answer we came to is it's got to be heavily story based and. Typically, in most cases, you'll find
party mechanics. Yeah.
Pokemon's totally an RPG. So,
but
so Blue and Red. This is Michael and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think it was during Thanksgiving. But I started out with Pokemon. I want to say Blue. I think I ended up playing both, but I think I had Blue and then Yellow later on. But it didn't really dawn on me just how good overall it was until I started playing Let's Go. I'm like, man, this is so much fun back in the day. And it's like, man, this is a behemoth. It's a huge franchise on its own. It's the reason the DS, one of the reasons the DS is what it is, man. That collection, it's a staple in a lot of games now. Having all that collecting,
108 stars.
But having all these Pokemon, having all the Pokemon to choose from is great. It gives you all that flexibility to do basically how you want to play the game. And aside from, the weakness, super effective type, whatever you call it, flow, you can really play however you want to.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play through with, a group of Squirtles, you totally could.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bad time in some spots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get fucking
But
wrecked.
for the most part, you can do it. You know, it gives you that flexibility. Story is fairly simple. It's a child's game.
Yeah.
Even more so than a lot of the other games we played as children. This one's actually geared more towards children, younger children. So it's not overly complicated, but it gives you a sense of accomplishment as you go through the gyms, become the Pokemon champion, and then go on to catch the legendaries, spending who knows how long trying to determine when to use your one Master Ball. It overall just such a great experience, especially at a younger age.
Yeah.
Like playing on the original Game Boy.
Cool. My number 4. It was easy. It was hard to make the list out. It was easier once I started putting numbers into play. My number 4 is Persona 5.
Ooh.
For many
recent.
Yeah, I know, and that's all. It's always like I don't know about that, but again, I think I've made my case very clear on even previous episodes of this podcast. This game brings it to the fucking table. This game sees a room that says, "Hey, top tier music, top tier graphics, story, narration, gameplay, quality of life, features, style," and Persona 5 just steps in and goes, "Here I am. This is what you asked me for, and here I am." I would be stretching my mind to think of the negative things of this game, and I feel like most of that would come down to nitpicking.
Yeah.
Like I've heard an example, some negativity I've heard thrown at this game has been like the translation. I tell you right now, if there are translation errors or translation confusions,
I haven't noticed.
I didn't come across them.
No.
I do see, much like I did in 4 and 3 as well, I do see that, of course, a lot of this stuff is based around Japanese mainstays. Like, they have a school there, they have a high school there. Their high school sport is not football, it's soccer, it's track team, it's typical stuff like that. There's fairs where they wear yukatas and stuff like this. So I can see where they have typical Japanese fare in it, but they translated it over just fine for me. Everything worked just fine in my book. Every single place you go to attack this game, it just parries masterfully. It's got all the things in the right places. I played through the game twice. I put more hours than I've had in some games that I've played multiple times. This is over 470 hours. I've made this case before. I hate saying this because I don't even know where it's going to go, but I feel like it's going to be a strong contender soon to be on my wall of all time. But this game came out of nowhere. It took me by surprise. It kept me going. And I would never have thought I'd put that many hours into an RPG. Not an MMORPG, an RPG that normally you're like, okay, 60, 70 hours, pretty good's fair. Like, no. You're gonna put way more than that. So a lot of that's filler. No. A lot of that's confidant building. A lot of that's doing all this extra stuff that you may think it sounds menial, but it all plays in. I've tried my best to explain some of this to Adam without giving things away, but he is now seeing it as well. It's not just the systems. It's the amount of intricate systems that intricately work together.
It's a finely woven tapestry.
Yes.
Of intermeshing systems and mechanics that come together to make a very cohesive experience. It never feels like you wasted something. Yes,
it never feels that way. It also never feels like you're fucking overwhelmed. If I was to sit down and explain how all these systems work in tangent and just more than speak it to you, you would think that, whoa, man, that's just too much. But when you get in and you play the game, it all fits, all flows, it all works, and you get very good at all this very easily. So yeah, from start to finish, multiple playthroughs, at least 2 so far as of this episode. I feel very confident in putting Persona on a list. I definitely felt confident putting it up in the top 10, and I put it pretty far up my top 10. It is my current, as of this episode, number 4 RPG of all time. Adam, number 4.
My number 4. Now, this was a pretty heated debate in my own mind.
Mm-hmm.
As I had to
It'd be like that sometimes.
I had to do that. Yeah. My number 4 RPG of all time. Xenogears.
Okay. I kind of figured it was going to be on this list somewhere. I didn't think it was going to be in our top 5.
Yep. It was definitely going to be in my top 5 because it is one of the ones that, as you can fucking tell from my ability to grasp the plot.
Why is it on there, Adam? Because I understand it. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's right. No, it took me. I had to play through this game several times to pick up all the little things that were going on. But I did so. And I did so because I enjoyed the game so much. All the things you were talking about earlier with the battle system and the sprite mechanics and the interesting way they put a 2D sprites on a 3D world, and you could rotate the camera and find all these little secrets and the interwoven, intricacies of the battles and the, going through the plot points and stuff like that. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. And it was until I saw Persona 5, it was the most kinetic battle system I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Hands down. There was no other battle system that made me feel like I was whipping the enemy's asses quite so badly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going through a lot of different games. You think of how many different games you just, when you just truck an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think. You just hit the triangle button once in Xenogears, and you just hit them harder than you did. You watch the enemy go, ugh, and go flying back. It's really punchy kind of sounds are playing. Oh, yeah. You start doing combos, and it's like, bah, bah, bah,
I love that move.
ugh.
I don't remember if it's a death blow or if it's one of his just chain moves, but when he has his hands basically pointed down and curled, and he basically looks like he's shoving something, but he's digging his hands into him. I'm like, wow.
That's the second triangle attack, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, all the little combos, they all have oomph to them.
Yeah. And you really feel like you're just knocking the living crap out of the enemies every single time even just doing the standard basic weak attack.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like, man, I just punched the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and for each different character, it's different, but it's every bit as satisfying to watch. And later on, sometimes the enemies will have different little counters and stuff like that to what you're doing, and they've got mechanics built in for that. There's so many little things like the infinity mode.
Mm-hmm.
I had completely forgotten. I went back through this recently too, and I had completely forgotten about the infinity mode until I would just suddenly remembered it in the middle of a battle, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you do it like this, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's time to destroy some shit now."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just so much good stuff. But that
sounds like it made a solid 4 for you.
Yeah, it made my 4 solid.
Nice. Chris?
All right. So, funny enough, my number 4 is also Persona 5. This is it. When I started making this list, I thought, okay, I'm kind of go backwards in time. What most recent, going back, best RPGs I've played. I was like, I have to put Persona 5 on the list. So I penciled it in and started putting in other games, and I'm like, man, it really did trump out a lot of these other ones.
Yeah.
It's wow. And it's one of those games where when I started playing it, I was like, okay, this can be a fun game. I played the original Persona as much of a
I did too.
interesting thing as it is. Didn't make much progress.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, it was a thing.
Had some issues.
So going to Persona 5, I had really no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately hit with that very bright, colorful, vibrant, non-standard layout of a start screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. I'm not sure I like it, but I see what they're doing here.
That strong pop art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a game, you know. And I start playing, and I'm like, okay, you know, yell at the cat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on. And it's like, okay, story's starting to flesh out. Okay, you got my attention. We're getting to personas more. Okay, Velvet Room. Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember this, you know. Okay. And then it just snowballs and snowballs. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything, like you said, you have to kind of fish for negative things. You have to
really
be nitpicky.
do, man.
And like I said, the only nitpicky thing I've had through the first 10 hours I played was just that one little sticking issue with the controls, which is completely and utterly minor.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I could hear an extremist me going, yeah, but you can't take screenshots and movies in the game. And the realistic me goes, you can play the fucking game.
You can't
Who
do
cares?
that in fucking any game.
You couldn't do that back in Final Fantasy VI with
Yeah.
that blue boy. Yeah, man, this game.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get to see it too. The further you go in, when you take October, November time frame, you're gonna be doing 27 fucking things at one time. That right now you're like, there is no fucking way. Yes, way, and it all ties in. It's all working.
And that's one of the things is like, just like you said, you couldn't put Chrono Trigger on your list because you haven't beaten it. I can't put this on mine,
Right?
Even though it is shaping up to be like it's going to be on there.
Yeah.
But
I did tell him at some point in the future we will have same thing with God of War minis game. We'll just have an episode where we readdress this because I definitely want to have a trifecta talk about Persona 5.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So,
yeah, but
Persona
it just
5, the episode
Part 2.
Yep. But it culminated into such a perfect storm of mechanics and story and everything. The art style, you know, after playing for a bit, it's like, okay, I feel it now. The music, it's got me. Okay. All this together. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen a game that lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And so far, this one is step for step matching.
I can almost tell you, Chris, speaking of the art, when this game finally just hit it home for me, was the first time I was in a dungeon. I don't remember if you had the victory lap at the very first. Remember when you open and you're going through the casino and before there, like the first time I got into a battle and I won the battle and it showed Akira and he did the come on motion. He just starts fucking jogging and that music, dun 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 dun. It shows all the fucking XP pop across the screen. You swipe the menu over and I was like, I'm in. This works.
Yeah.
This works really fucking good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. Persona 4, Persona 5 made both of our number 4s. That's good news. That's really good news, man. My number 3. So this is where it gets really fucking simple. I could even go 3, 2, 1 my number 3 is Suikoden 2. It is one of the games on my wall. The other 2 games are also on my wall. Suikoden 2 is a sequel to a damn good RPG. It elevates a lot of what was done in Suikoden 1. One of the biggest things about Suikoden 2 is it is also a singular game. If you didn't play through Suikoden 1, if you did play through Suikoden 1, some of that data and story and whatnot could carry over. If you didn't, and somebody just walked up to you and you don't know what the fuck Suikoden is and they hand you Suikoden 2, you can still play that game.
And you could sell that shit for like $500.
And you can still get a 10 out of 10 experience without being part of the whole stars and all this stuff. It is singular and it's isolated, and I like it for that. The story in this game is fucking awesome. It goes hard one way, hard another way. I love the villain in this game, but I love how even when the villain, I mean, spoiler for all these games, I suppose, but I love when the main villain, when Luca got downed in the game, and I mean, that whole part was awesome. Mm-hmm. And the game had more. They're like, the main shit ain't even done yet. We're just we're moving one chess piece off the board. I was like, oh man, you got more? Yeah, we got more. The relationship between your main character and Joey and Nanami, the way they all play in together, the way all the stars come together. This game is just so good. It is a hold your breath, damn good story. The graphics, sprite-based graphics, a little bit better this time around. The artwork, as you pointed out to me recently, also done better. I mean, this is a clear-cut case
Everything
of somebody.
about Suikoden 1, which was already awesome.
Yes,
and already good despite all the fuckery that we've been going over.
Mm-hmm.
It was all good.
Yep.
Now it's been elevated to 10 status.
Yep.
It went from like 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 to, or maybe 7 out of 10 in some horrible cases like the art.
Yeah.
Have now jumped and starting to become pegged.
Battle system is back again. They have the unite abilities. You have a whole
and
bunch.
they're even more intricate now.
More that are there. You also have more characters getting involved. You have more characters in the game to find out, and they all, for the most part, to a lesser degree or a larger degree, they are fleshed out. There's a reason why they're in the story. And if you did play Suikoden 1, the Suikoden 2 going and talking back to Suikoden 1 about, hey, the Terran Republic, you remember that stuff? We're going to go back there. That fucking blew my ever-loving mind. And
And I love, well, we talked about this earlier, the way nostalgia is done correctly by a sequel. Unlike, take, for instance, the Star Wars movies where they're like, hey, look, it's a fucking droid. You remember droids?
You remember droids, right?
All right, let's move on.
AT-AT, right? AT-ST, right? Yeah.
It's a lightsaber. You like lightsabers? Yeah. All right, cool. That's not how you invoke nostalgia. How you evoke nostalgia is doing exactly what Suikoden 2 did, which is, here's this offhanded thing. I'll explain it a little bit. We'll move on. I'll mention it again. I'll bring up a little bit more so you can kind of see how this thing is growing while you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
You can start to make inferences. Well, here's this coin. Shu brings this out. He's like, I use a coin just like this whenever I'm trading with the Terran Republic. And you're like, oh, the fucking Terran Republic.
What do you say?
They have their own coins now. They must be getting along pretty well. They're trading with other nations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is good stuff. And then you start to hear, well, if we do this, then the Terran Republic will just invade us again from the other side. Mm-hmm. And you go back to Suikoden 1, and you're like, oh yeah, we did kind of fake an invasion to the city states of Joustin to get them to occupy this. Oh man. So, and then you go back a little further, and they're like, well, do we want to make an alliance with them? And you're like, fuck yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time you're like, yeah, I want to know. And you finally get to go over there, and then you're like, I wonder what happened to the first hero. Well, let's just fucking find out then.
Good, bad nostalgia just goes, hey, you remember this, right? Good nostalgia goes, hey, you remember this? You have more questions? Let me answer them for you. That is what.
Just elaborate.
Yeah, let me just flesh out some more. Another thing, and this is one of the personal reasons why this game is on my fucking wall. There are not one, not two, but 3 emotional, dramatic, heart-gripping moments in this game. A lead villain dies in a fucking marvelous splendor. A main character dies in tragedy. And 2 main characters from their own respective games meet the fuck up. And they're both like, hey, bruh, hey, man. Goosebumps. They can't see it, but goosebumps. That is still on my Facebook wall right now, and that will be one of my most cherished pictures ever. Is the moment where the main character from Suikoden 2 goes, hey, or they tell the main character, hey, you need to go back to the Terran Republic. There's a pretty fucking awesome dude there, and his army and all his shit can help you out. And he goes, okay. And he goes to the fucking Terran Republic, and he meets the character from Suikoden 1, and he's just on a pier just fishing. And there's fucking life bodyguard, awesome fucking dude is standing there being like, yeah, hold on, man, you can't talk to that guy. And it's like, you as the player, me as the player was like, these people are fucking the most awesome people in their fucking games, and they're right by each other. And he just fucking turns his head and is like, hey, what's up, man? And I love it.
You're like,
I love it.
And the thing is,
that small moment drew that much emotion.
I'm gonna one up you on this. I'm sorry, but if you bring characters from Suikoden 1 in your party at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
they all appropriately and differently lose their collective shits.
Yep.
If you bring Flick, he goes, motherfucker. And, you bring, whoever you bring, they're going to be like, we found him.
Yep. Yep.
They're like, he just fucking dipped, but we got your ass.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you can't get off the spear.
So from all this stuff to the again bringing back fucking symphony music again and doing it so well, the graphics, just everything about this game. This is a standalone. You can have it either way. You can play it as a sequel. You can play it as a continuation of a series that follows into other games. Or you can go, here you go, play Suikoden, start it, finish it, you're done. And it's going to fucking rock your world. And I love it. And it made my number 3 fairly easily. So
that's not a thing I can't argue with at all because it made my number 3 as
well. What do you know?
So, ditto.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Chris, your number 3.
Suikoden.
1?
Yeah. Reason being,
here we go.
I can agree that 2 is probably the better game. It's also, I haven't played it as recently. I played it, but it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
So I need to get a new playthrough, and I need to play through both of them, actually.
You can ram through Suikoden 1 with 100% in about 20 hours.
Yeah.
30 if you take your time.
It hasn't been that long since I played it.
Yeah.
But I do, before I play 2, I want to actually sit down and do back-to-back.
Yeah.
Just so it's all fresh.
That is the most appropriate. Now, I don't know how you're going to do it, emulation or what, but there is a glitch that you may want to be aware of when you're loading into Suikoden 2, where the first letter of your character's name in Suikoden 1 will overwrite the first letter.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Name in Suikoden 2. So if you want him to be named appropriately, you'll need to name him something that starts with M.
Yeah.
Okay.
A big capital M.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Suikoden, it's the mechanics of the game overall, not even focusing on the story part, but the combat was fun. Doing the combos was fun. Doing the large-scale battles, I love those.
Mm-hmm.
I want a game that's just those.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy those so much. Meeting all the characters, all the stars, that was awesome. And having, all that, we talked about all the story that's behind characters and whatnot in it. And seeing the castle grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm causing these changes by meeting these people, and it's not just random people. Sure you have elevator guy, but he's
the best fucking elevator guy in that world, though, and he's like, I'm gonna build some
I like
shit
the
for your
elevator
castle.
guy in 2 a little bit better, but
yeah.
But yeah, just meeting all of these characters and having them not just feel generic and random. They actually impact what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All that, so many good mechanics, and then you have the story on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Rounded out.
I'm just going to clarify again that despite my
crawfish,
my veracity,
that smells some etouffee.
This ain't no crawfish.
That smells some etouffee.
Despite the veracity at which I will attack Suikoden for trying to step up to Chrono Trigger's level, it's a fucking awesome game.
Yes, it is.
And it belongs. You know what? You want to put it on the list? Fucking, it belongs there.
Yeah, it's your list, man.
Any list that includes some of the best RPGs of all time, it'll make it. It is a damn good game. The sequel is better in every regard, except for the ability to move diagonally. But we don't talk about that.
So, except when Chrono Trigger is involved.
Unless it's trying to take Chrono's spot. Or Final Fantasy VI's spot.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Cool. Suikoden 1.
Little sidebar, have you played Suikoden 3 or 5?
No. I did not know they existed until a year ago.
Suikoden 3
is garbage.
Very different from the first 2 and not as good. But it does take your transfer from your save. So your Suikoden 1 save can go into 2, and that will go into 3, and it pulls from both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there are some very good. It's the latest chronologically. Takes place 15 years after 2. Very good game. 5 is the best game since Suikoden 2.
Okay.
In the series. And it was not good enough for Michael to finish.
Yeah.
But I think he may end up going back through it again later on.
Yeah, I plan to give it another shake.
It is a very.
I can't have the fucking Soul Eater rune tattooed on me and not give a Suikoden game a proper go around, except for 4, because I have it on good authority that 4 is pretty shit.
4 is the worst in the series, but it does have a Soul Eater in it, so I think you should play it.
Oh, fuck you! Fuck you!
So eventually,
I give you God of War, you give me Suikoden 4. Ah,
I gave you 3 notches on your wall.
man.
So it's about time you gave me 1.
I did. You're welcome, Persona 5.
There you go.
Yep.
But just knowing that you like Suikoden as well, that's, and I do have both of them if you'd like to borrow one.
Another sidebar as well, and then I'm going to roll in my number 2. A lot of good RPGs are known and talked about, and I'm talking from my personal talking to people physically in real life, not on a forum, not reading and watching videos. It is a genuine Greek tragedy that Suikoden today is not talked about at the levels that it should be. I'll hear people talk about Suikoden and they'll say, I've heard of the name. That's about as close as I get. Mm-hmm. I rarely find the person that's like, oh, I played that. It's more like, yeah, I think that's supposed to be like some obscure RPG. Yeah, it's sad that it's still that way because it is up there. My number 2, come on, guys. My number 2 and 1. I'm not going to fuck around with this at all. Not fucking around. Let's get this shit done. Chrono Trigger's my number 2. Final Fantasy 6 is my number 1. This is no surprise to the people that listen to the podcast before, and Adam and I have definitely talked about us having multiple conversations about this. It all boils down to personal preference, and it's really, really minuscule, minute, nobody else gives a shit reasons why I picked 6 over Chrono Trigger. Both are fucking masterpieces in the RPG world.
We've had it out, and it's beat for beat. They're both fucking neck and neck the whole way, and it comes down to literal personal preference.
I feel like if this was supposed to be some debate where people actually cared about it, that I would be all just fire and brimstone, just shouting down why 6 beats Chrono Trigger. At the end of the day, when they shut the doors, I'm like a fucking wrestler. Those two are they're rubbing elbows. They think we hate each other. Yeah, we're like fucking twins almost, Chrono Trigger. Awesome sprite artwork, memorable music, all the fucking way around. Awesome battle mechanics. Tri attack shit. I'm forgetting it. What is it, Adam? The battle mechanic is
the dual text.
The dual text system. Jesus, thank you for bailing me out of that fire. The fact that this game this is something else we talked about recently, and we've having a hard time trying to find this in other games. The fact that they put time travel directly into the storyline and do it damn near perfect. They do it majestically. It all makes sense. It all ties in.
Technically, Final Fantasy VIII had time travel.
Oh God, get out of my face with this. Don't sully Chrono Trigger talk with Final Fantasy VIII talk. Come on, man.
Final Fantasy VIII like that?
Much, and again, this goes for pretty much all of these. I would be hard pressed to find flaws and bad things to talk about. I was impressed when I was, a young teenager playing Chrono Trigger. I was impressed in my middle teens, in my middle 20s. I played it a couple years ago. I was impressed then. Take all that, copy paste to Final Fantasy VI. I love both of these. I think they're both awesome. It's just for whatever who cares reason, I just pick 6 over. It doesn't fucking matter. They're both fucking stellar.
Anything good you say about one can almost universally be translated over. The battle systems are different but equal.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got the dual tech system in Chrono Trigger. You have the Espers in Final Fantasy VI. I mean, you can find one for one across the board.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's it for my list,
Pick
man.
your poison, and you know what? Mine is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
As you could probably tell if you've ever listened to this podcast before, especially last episode.
Yep.
So Chris,
All right.
There's the
So I'll be the
moment of
different
truth.
one. Again, haven't played any of those through to completion, so they're not on my list.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is Adam's number 5, Final Fantasy VII. This game, it's one of the first RPGs I played aside from my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck with me. I just could not put the game down. I put hundreds of hours into it.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing for me was the materia system.
Yeah.
The ability to choose all your different materia, combine them in all these different ways, have different effects depending on which, weapon or armor. It just completely changed the dynamic of it. You want to do 64 Knights of the Round, go for it.
Yeah.
You want to just elemental attack, be a sword wielding badass, which he is anyway, but yeah, you can do that, added effect, etc., multi-cut.
Yeah.
You can play how you want to play.
Like you talk about some RPGs around this time, and they're like, well, if you want fire, you have fire magic, you have earth magic, and then 7's like, yeah, we also have support materials. You have 2 times, 4 times, W summon, just the list goes
and
on.
The way
it's
you
like,
could chain them together,
yes,
to make different combinations. So you want to do added effect, steel,
mm-hmm.
And then you do cut all. And you steal from all of them simultaneously.
Yep.
Oh, man. Just little shit like that. And that's one of thousands of combinations.
Yeah. You want to auto revive? Hey, final attack, Phoenix.
Yep.
Every time you go down, you come back up.
Bring the whole party back up with you if you need to.
The interior system is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. That system
Let's hope
alone,
they do it justice in the remake.
Yeah, that's why I said in the remake, if that's not in there, I don't know if I'll play the game.
Yeah.
It's the staple for me, and aside from everything else that's great about the game, things we've already talked about, but it's just an amazing system.
It is. It really, really is. Play it now.
Yeah.
Right now, pause the podcast.
Stop the podcast. Play the thing and then come back.
So then the world.
You back? Okay, now you
yeah. So the world is interested, Chris. The number 1.
All right. So my number 1 game, and I will say I thought long and hard about bumping this down. Because I was like, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time I let go.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about it. And I couldn't. And my number 1 is still Lunar
I
Silver
knew it was
Star.
coming. Yep.
Sega CD version, not the PlayStation scum.
Y'all better remember that. When I put the email out there and ask y'all what this is, y'all better be telling me it's this, because there is a specific version that he prefers.
Yeah. The story of the game is a fairly traditional type story, damsel in distress type thing, but then you have all these other things going on as you progress through that, the underlying story behind why this damsel's in distress, why you're running into these people, the story dynamics of all your party members as you get them, their individual stories, yes, their pairings, their relationships, their ups and downs in those relationships, along with a combat system, which was a standard RPG combat system, attack, magic, item, etc. Except for when it came to magic, not only did each character have their own type thing, pretty much some had a little bit of overlap, but overall they had a specialty, and some of them were completely different. Kyle rolled dice. That was his thing. He didn't cast spells. He rolled dice. Your healer had healer magic, of course, but your main character, you had pretty much everything. And then you had your special spells you got as you went through a story. And for the most part, they were all pretty useful. Obviously, you get more powerful versions, they're going to trump it, but yeah, it was...
That game is a true gem in any form that you can play it. But I will... one of the things that stood out to me was how well done the villain was.
Yeah.
How extremely well done the villain was. They made it to where you have a very clear understanding of why he's doing exactly what he's doing. And this is another thing that I loved about the Lunar series is that, in the next game, they make it crystal clear what the first game was trying to push. Like, this dude wasn't an asshole. He was just misguided. So fucking love that game.
Yeah. And keeping in mind, this is Sega CD.
Yeah.
This is way back in the day. And then you have the cutscenes you do. You have the music you do. This is still, I've mentioned this before, when you look at my music playlist, pull my Winamp playlist, you will find almost no game music because that's not what I do. I don't listen to the music in game. I listen to it as I play, but I don't care, if you will. I don't focus on it. It's not a mainstay. I've played games completely muted before. I don't care. I'm there for the gameplay. But the opening song to Lunar is on that playlist because it's catchy.
It's really good.
I want to add something in here. This is just a random thing. This is not taken away from yours at all. But I want to share with you because you can respect this, having said what you just said. I had a moment today where, I have an MP3 player at the office at work, and when me and Adam are on break, we sit down and talk a lot. And I just have the radio playing random songs on my MP3 player. It has like 900 different songs on it. I have 5 Persona 5 songs on there. So him and I are sitting down having a conversation about, it might have been Resident Evil, I don't remember. But we're both relaxing, enjoying some break off from some fucking hard work. And some of the easy listening Persona 5 music comes on. And I'm in this office talking with a friend about video games with P5 music playing in the background. I'm like, this is the fucking life right here. I can think of many games that have good game music like that, but you know what I mean. Persona 5 music just fits like it fits where it's supposed to fit. And it was awesome. So yeah. So number 1, Lunar.
Couldn't bump it down.
Yep.
I thought about it.
Could not bump it down. That lets you know it sticks. Yep. It stays.
I think that the difference in that is just like only where it was in the heart.
Yeah.
Lunar hit me hard, and that's why it's up there, but so did the 5 above it. It apparently got you a little bit earlier and got a deeper spot. And I can respect that because it punches hard. It's a great fucking game.
So there you have it, folks. That is our end of time cast, and the current cast, current time, current games, all that shit.
We'll change this shit up tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll change up. We'll get a 6th person to come around later, or a 5th person, and we'll have another one. But yeah, we do plan sometime in the future. It won't be anytime soon because we're going to have to add 5 more games individually. But we're going to come to like most of our episodes like this, an end of time cast, debate, discussion. This one will probably be one of the more heated ones because, these are RPGs. Like I said before, this is our wheelhouse. We can talk very proficiently about these types of games. So, what about you, audience? What are the RPGs that you like to have up in a list somewhere? If you were to sit down and make a list of top 10, top 15, whatever RPGs, where would they be? Now, I do realize that our list was very short, but we knew we're going to have a couple guests. We're going to be live in here. We knew we were going to run long as this episode is running long. So we could each do a 15 list, no problem. But just for time, we just really couldn't. If you could, what would your top 15 be and why? I'm guaranteeing that with us only doing 5 games, there were one, if not a few games that you loved that didn't make our list. That's fine. It's our list. It's understandable. But tell us why your games made your list. We want to know stuff like that. We're interested to hear your opinions on great times you've had in games. Those emotional times, those heartbeat moments, those times that go, this is a reason why this game is a masterpiece, why it stays in my mind and my heart. We love hearing stuff like that, especially with RPGs, because that's a definite passion of us. If anything else you heard on this episode that you'd like to chime in and talk about, we love to hear any and all feedback from you, as always. And there are many ways you can do that. We have a Facebook page. You can go to Facebook and search for End of Time Cast. It'll take you right to us. Might be how you find this episode right here. We have an email. You can email us at endoftimecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. No funny numbers in there. Just spell it as you heard it. We have a Twitter page. You can tweet us, retweet us, however you choose to get a hold of us, however you choose to ask us questions, comments, concerns, concerns, gripes, whatever. We love to hear feedback. Again, feedback from an audience is exactly why we do this podcast. We don't always just want to talk to you. We want to talk with you and share gaming experiences like the ones we had today. So, that's it. That's it for tonight's episode. And until next time, I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Adam.
Good night, everybody.